All right. So, welcome back to another live stream series for the summer. And today we're going to do something kind of different. This is kind of a weird day for a live stream. This is, I think, the only Friday live stream I'm going to do because it's not usually a time that I picked, but it's the only one that worked for this week. And since I'm going to be gone this Sunday and I didn't have the chance to do one Tuesday, so here we are. We're going to talk about The Great Pretender. I just finished that series. We're going to talk about The Great Pretender, but we're also going to do some fun stuff today. I had a request over on Patreon where they asked if I would rank the anime that I've seen so far. And I thought that could be a lot of fun. I've seen other reactors do tier rankings of shows that they've seen. I thought that was really fun. So I made a little tier chart generator and I'm going to be doing that afterwards. But this is our only Friday live stream for the year. So I thought that we'd just go ahead and have fun, talk about The Great Pretender for a little bit, and then rank some anime because that seems really cool, and just kind of chill out for about an hour and a half on this lovely Friday before I get back to reacting to more things because I have the day off today. So hopefully if you all are watching this live stream or if you're just tuning in, I'm Romania Black and I'm really excited to have you all here. So we hopefully y'all can chat in the chat as well. And if you have any questions about The Great Pretender, we're also going to rank some anime, talk about what's coming up next in the coming weeks, all that fun stuff. Hello, Corey. Yay. I hope I said that right. I hope I said it's Corey or Core or Kur or however you want to do. But hello. Welcome. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. I'm not going to be able to do a live stream on Sunday, so that's why we're doing anime that I've watched so far, and we're going to rank them. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I had that request over from Patreon, so going to try to do that today with you all as well. But feel free to ask questions about The Great Pretender in the chat. I am going to talk a little bit about spoilers. I'm going to try to keep it a little spoiler free if I can, but I feel like you have to talk a little bit about the ending and the series as a whole to start out with. So if you guys have any questions about the series, I will go ahead and talk about what is going to replace it, because I have had a question on YouTube come up about that. I'm reacting to a lot of shows right now. If I look at my schedule, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Soon to be more when Jujutsu Kaisen comes out and Bungo Stray Dogs comes out. So I'm doing like 10 shows a week. So there's a lot going on with my schedule. And even though it's summer and I've got a few more free hours, I've got a lot on my plate. So what I decided was that I am going to replace Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga was originally the series that I kind of added on in January. I'm going to replace it. And instead of replacing The Great Pretender, I've got so much Kuroko's basketball content. I've got so much of it that I'm going to be doing kind of a day of Kuroko on Thursday, doing like the audio dramas and the extra reactions along with the manga. So that's going to be Thursday for a little while for the rest of the summer. Hello, Devilesk. Hello. So that's kind of my plan. I am going to replace Vinland Saga instead. And then The Great Pretender slot is going to be used for the Kuroko's manga for the rest of the summer to kind of get through all of that. So that's my plan anyway, before we move on to another sports anime, because I don't want to give Kuroko's up yet. But let's get down to it. We've got a hello, Redhead PNC. Let's get down to it. I'm not going to spoil The Great Pretender because here's my thing. Of all the series I've ever watched on this channel, of all the series, oh, hello. See you in about 20 minutes. Yes, Akane, that is perfectly fine. I'll see you then. I'm going to be on for about an hour and a half, so that should be all right. And we're going to be ranking anime. Should be fun. Do some tier rankings. I'm not going to spoil The Great Pretender for you all because, honestly, of all the series I've watched for this channel, this was one series that Huckleberry, my dog, actually picked for Christmas to replace a Neon Genesis. And I was really excited about it at the time because, one, I'd wanted to see Great Pretender for years, ever since it first came out. It came out around the time I started my channel, and there was a lot of hype around it, so I wanted to see it then, and it just took me until now. Hello, morning, Frank. It took me until now to get to The Great Pretender, so I've been waiting for years to watch it, so that was exciting. But also, I was really happy that The Great Pretender replaced Neon Genesis because Sadamoto, who does the artwork for Neon Genesis's manga, as well as character design for the series, was the person that was the art director for The Great Pretender. So I thought this was like a cool, like, visual lineage. You went from Neon Genesis, you went from that over to Great Pretender. But I will be honest, of all the shows that I've reacted to on this channel so far, The Great Pretender has been like the quietest. And I don't know what to make of that. I feel like there's, in one part, people didn't want to spoil it, which I'm very appreciative of. I'm very glad people didn't want to spoil it. But also, it kind of all the series that I've watched on this channel, it made it very much seem like I was kind of just talking to myself and not interacting with anybody watching it. And I know that sounds weird because I'm doing that all the time with shows, but I constantly read the comments and talk about them and with others. And so I get kind of there becomes this synergy when I react to a show and I look in the comments and people are talking about it. And even just talking about the characters and things like that, it creates this great energy throughout. And I kind of build on that, right? I feel so motivated by the energy that you all give out in your comments. They motivate me, they get me excited about future episodes, even without spoiling. So I'm not going to spoil The Great Pretender, and that's fine because I know a lot of people haven't watched it. So because nobody was talking in the comments about it on Patreon, on YouTube, on Discord, it was like dead space. And I get that. A lot of people just haven't seen it yet. And I was picking a show that, well, Huckleberry picked it. So, but it was a show that I intentionally wanted to watch. And yeah, Frank, it is heavy to talk about and hard to talk about because there's so many plot twists and things like that. And I totally get that. That's why Monster is such a challenge, because it's kind of running into the same thing. But yeah, a lot of people ask me on Patreon if I'll just watch shows that I want to watch. And this is kind of an example of why I like polling so much, because I like picking out a series of shows. Hey, Amy, hello. I like picking out a series of shows and then putting them out for Patreon or the public to vote for, because you all get hyped about the shows. You all list reasons why they're great or not. So I like polling because it gives you all a chance to pick a show. And if you all are excited about it, then I will be probably excited about it as well. And it usually leads to better discourse, better discussion, better reactions. So this was kind of like an experiment of, well, I let my dog choose this show. But I am glad that I saw The Great Pretender. I am glad that I saw The Great Pretender. It's a beautiful show. The animation is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, Vinland is going to be on the tier list, Killer Queen. We're going to talk about that in a second. But I do think The Great Pretender, it's a gorgeous show. I'm glad the English dub is really good. I like the English dub a lot. But the Japanese dub, Junichi Suabe playing Laurent, is so perfect. He's so perfect in that role. I love him. So if you've not got a chance to see The Great Pretender, I definitely recommend it. It is a lot of genres that I really like. The animation is gorgeous. It's a crime drama, so I love that genre. It's hilarious. There's like a little bit of romantic subplot. So it combined a lot of genres that I like. My only regret is that we just couldn't talk about it a lot while it was airing, and there just haven't been a lot of people to see it. So I hope that more people go see it and then come back to the reactions later, because now that I've seen The Great Pretender and I can't be spoiled anymore, I would love it if people went back and were able to watch it eventually when y'all get time, and we can talk about it in the comments without the fear of spoilers now. So that's kind of the fun thing, right? That's kind of the fun thing. And it does make me wonder if for future shows, if I need to record ahead and try to finish a series maybe before posting it on Patreon or YouTube to rid that chance, right? It's hard for me right now because I'd have to record a lot ahead to be able to do that, but that is something to consider, right? So, and I'm not pressuring anybody to watch The Great Pretender or go comment on it. But now I feel like if people do go back, like right now, there's somebody on YouTube that's been watching Geen, who's a fellow patron, has been watching Moriarty the Patriot, and they've been commenting on it as they go back. And now that I've seen it all, I'm like, oh yeah, now we can talk more in detail about it. And it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Hello, Neil. Yes, I was like, I just answered your comment earlier, Neil, about The Great Pretender. Yeah. And here's something else too that I was telling people in the Discord the other day, is that right now we're doing a poll for shows to replace Vinland Saga. And there was a discussion where some people were like, oh, I don't like that show, or I don't like how it went, or whatever. And I try not to pay attention to that because everybody's tastes are very different. Shows that I love, I know other people will not love. But I try to avoid getting overhyped for shows or paying attention when people are like, oh, I didn't like how that ended. Because that kind of, I don't know, it sort of spoils it. Like there was a comment way early back at The Great Pretender that was like, oh, I have mixed feelings about it. And it instantly made me go, ooh. Like I was instantly like, oh, am I not going to like this? Is it going to have a bad ending? And it gave me this expectation, right? And so I try to avoid that. I try to avoid any comments people make where they're hyping up something too much or when they try to get negative. Because I'm like, life is too short to be negative about a series. If you don't like a series, just don't watch it. But it can be discouraging when people go in the comments and they're like, oh, this show sucks. And I'm like, way to make me feel really engaged about it and ready to talk about it for sure. Like, it just kind of sucks the life out of you, I think, as a reactor. But Huckleberry is also having me throw this toy. So if I reach down, that is what I'm doing because it's his playtime. But yeah, so my thought is I have gotten this tier pulled up for anime that I have watched. I have made a huge list of all the anime and movies that I've watched on here. I think I've gotten everything. I feel like as we go through this tier ranking, if people have questions about The Great Pretender or chats about it, we can talk about it as well, and I'll address them. I'll keep looking in the chat to see if anybody brings up any questions. I do agree with Killer Queen that Wit does the show right, so the quality is really, really good. But yeah, so I have this tier ranking. I can't bring it up live stream with you all simultaneously where you can see it, but I am going to take a picture. I'm going to put it in the Patreon Discord. I'm going to post it to Patreon with this live stream, and I am going to put it in the community post when we're all said and done, so you guys can visually see how this all works out. But I made a tier ranking. I've got all the shows that I've watched so far, all the movies I've ever watched, everything like that. I didn't do every single movie. Like I didn't do season 1 of Kuroko's Basketball, season 2, season 3. I just did Kuroko's as a whole. I just did the series as a whole because otherwise we'd be here all day. But I did do all of these series so that we can rank them. The rankings that I have, obviously, S is S tier, but it's the saintly tier. It's like the best of the best, my favorites of the favorites. A tier is amazing, just an amazing show, awesome. B is badass or basically good. I feel like B could go either way. So B could be badass or basically good. Like it could be a badass series, or it could just be like, oh, it's fine, it's great, it's wonderful. C is classics because there's a lot of older series on here that I feel like would go in that classic series. D rank is I don't recall. Like it's just something that I don't quite remember enough of, and so thus it deserves to be there. And then I have a ranking called N, which means not enough data. So I haven't watched enough of the series to make a call on it yet. So this is the 2023 version of ranking. And I kind of, Edgar over on Patreon requested this, and I kind of wanted to do it because I haven't ever ranked the shows that I've watched. And I will be honest, I am notoriously very kind with my rankings. If you are friends with me on my anime list, everything has like a 7, 8, 9, or 10. It's like there are no bad rankings on there because I want to be nice. I don't want to do that. So I usually give everything a really high rating. And so I'm sure people are like, do you just not dislike anything? Which is not true, but so yeah. Before we start though, I want to go over here to the chat and see some of the questions on here. Frank Ace 22, of all the heists in the series, which was your favorite that was pulled off? I would say, without spoiling much, because a lot of people have not seen the show, I would honestly say that my favorite heist was either the first one or the third with Cynthia. Those were probably my two favorite storylines. The art storyline, I think the artwork might be my favorite. Without spoiling much for anybody, I think the art heist is my favorite. It's what I think of when I think of a heist. It has a very Ocean's 11 vibe. It's probably my favorite, and I like the romance angle and the character work that's done in that heist. But the first one is very good. The first one kind of comes full circle in the story, so it's a really good. So that would be my answer there. This ranking is going to be fun. Here's my thing. I'm also notorious where once I make a ranking, I have instant regrets. I change my mind instantly, and everybody's like, why'd you place that there? And I'm like, I don't know. I can only think of when I was doing my Attack on Titan recaps, I would rank the episodes, and everyone's like, you chose that one? And I was like, I'm sorry, I have regrets. Just instantly. Frank also says, I dug the structure of the series. It was like a heist with a little arc for each character. Yes, that is one thing about The Great Pretender I love, is that each main character in the show gets its own arc, gets its own character work, and nobody felt left out, which I really, really appreciated. I liked that. And then Anime Annie, hello! know if there's an anime I dislike, I just don't rate it. Yeah, I'm gonna say I've been so fortunate. We were talking about this in the Discord the other day. I've been really lucky that you all, as patrons, as YouTube people in the polls, have chosen series that are really good. Like nobody's chosen a series. I was like, oh God, why am I watching this? Like, no, everything has been amazing so far. So that's going to make this ranking really hard. So a lot of the categories are kind of similar. They're just separated a little into subgenres. But yeah, I've not had to watch garbage yet. So I know, right? Too kind. Yeah. Somebody in the Discord was saying you just need to have like a trash poll and just watch something that's terrible. And I'm like, it would kind of be fun to watch and rant with you all about something terrible. But there is a show in the Vinland Saga replacement poll right now that could have that happen. So we'll just see. But yeah, let's do this. All right. So saintly tier, amazing tier, badass are basically good, classics, don't recall, and not enough data. This is going to take a while, which is why I wanted to start this early. Because I'm too kind of a human. No, I try to be optimistic, Killer Queen, and it doesn't always work. So I want to talk about a couple shows that I've not had on my channel that I'll go ahead and rank. Because I watched them on my own time before I even started this channel. So it kind of was one of those situations where I'd already watched it. So, haha. Before I start, Undecided Toy Store. Happy to see you today. What is the proper way for us to suggest anime or manga? I watched Madoka Magica. Oh my gosh, that show's been recommended so many times. Undecided Toy Store. What I do is I have a big document online that I have saved every show that anybody has ever requested or recommended. And I have them sorted into genres. I will make the polls based off of that. So that's kind of what I end up doing. I will take the recommendations people suggest, I will put them into the genres, and then what I will do is just separate them out. And when I do a poll, I'll just have Patreon choose from those subgenres, or if I have a few that have been recommended over and over again, I try to choose those. So that's kind of the method. That's the method to my madness. So my internet blinked for just a second. So hopefully you all can still see me. It like went offline for a hot second and I was like, don't you dare. But I think we're good still. Okay. So so the poll right now for Vinland Saga, I asked Patreon to choose shows and to recommend shows that were similar in tone to Vinland Saga. And that's kind of where we were. I'm glad that it's back. Yeah, it logged for just a hot second, Lune, and I was like, no. So yeah, so that's kind of my approach, is that I will take a genre that I really want to watch. And so we'll go there. Oh, where can I find the screenshot of your tier list? I haven't made the screenshot yet, Frank. We're going to go through this tier list now. And when the live stream's over, I'm going to post it to Discord, to Patreon, and to the YouTube community post so y'all can see. I don't have the technology right now to do it simultaneously with you all. That's going to be a project that I'm going to look into this summer, is possibly a new camera for live streaming, as well as maybe getting some drapes to put up here to make it not so bright. And then to also look into maybe some tech to help things. So yes, gonna work on that. But can I make your tier list too? Yeah, I will save this and I will actually post it with the live stream as well. So you all can do rankings as well. That would be great. I know tier lists are so addictive. That's why I love it. So let's go ahead and start with the series that I saw before this channel and just get them out of the way. So I will say under amazing, I'm kind of torn between this. So I would ask you all as well, under either amazing or badass. It's a very close call. Akira, the movie Akira, it's badass for sure, but is it B rank or is it A rank? Is it amazing or is it badass? That is the question for Akira, because it's one of the first anime movies I ever saw. It completely it changed the way that I looked at anime, and I was like, oh, this is not just a show about magical girls or digital monsters. This thing is deep and weird and is getting into some theoretical questioning that my 10-year-old self is not ready to understand or think about. So I was like 10 years old when I saw Akira, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And so just trying to like be flabbergasted. And that opening scene with the motorcycle sliding sideways, the relationship between Akira and Tetsuya, and it's just so good. And even the English dub versus the Japanese dub is just mwah, to pieces. So I'm going to put Akira under amazing. The animation, the content, it's really, really good. We're going to go with Akira. Somebody, Amy noted Digimon. Hell yes, Digimon. Digimon was one of the first series that I got into as a kid. Here's the thing though. I'm a snob. I'm a horrible Digimon snob. I am a Digimon purist where it's like season 1 and season 2. My brother loves season 3. I could not stand season 3. From season 3 on, I was like, nope, I'm out. Season 1, season 2 peaked, and then I was out because it changed. They retconned so much from the first 2 seasons that I loved. And then after that, I was like, can't do it. I can't take change. The Taurus in me cannot stand change. I'm like, no, I know, Edgar, my brother's favorite is season 3. He loves that season so much. And I was like, my inner Taurus was like, I can't change from season 1 and season 2. No, I was like, they had the epilogue, it ended so perfectly. Why'd you continue it? But they did. Now I've heard that there's like Digimon Tri, they've retconned and gone back to the first 2 seasons later on. One day I will watch Triforce or whatever and get back to it. One day I'll get back to it and have a big nostalgia trip. But the first 2 seasons and the first movie, I think I wore my VHS tape out on the first movie. I fast forwarded and rewound it so many times. It was just, we're going to put Digimon under classics as it should be. It should be under classics rank. It's just that good. I'm going to duck out to get the toy. All right. I'm a Digimon stan, so it's B. Badass. All right. C is for classics, though. See, I'm putting the C rank just for C because it's classics, right? If you're a classical fan, you definitely will like it. Speaking of which, if we're going to throw that in there, we might as well talk about Pokemon. I'm kind of the same way. I was always more into Pokemon as a video game than I was an anime. My brother loved Pokemon, the anime. He grew up with all the seasons. I watched up until like through the Orange Islands, through where Black and White, or not Black and White, through Gold and Silver. And then through where that storyline ended, I kind of stopped watching Pokemon after that. So I'm going to put it in C for classics, but I definitely loved Pokemon I love Digimon more for the anime. I love Pokemon more for the games. That was kind of just my differences between them. And I think a lot of people are kind of like that too. Oh man, Anil, Digimon was my first exposure to anime. I honestly, Killer Queen, if I knew how to stream, if I had the technology to stream Killer Queen, I would honestly I need to research that because I would stream doing a run through the Pokemon games because that would be a lot of fun. It would just be me talking and just being ridiculous, right? Who's your favorite Digimon and why is it Potamon? Oh, here's my thing. As a kid, I had this biggest obsession with Wizardmon from season 1. Wizardmon's death in season 1 was like a life-changing childhood event. It was the drama that my soul was craving. And I didn't know that it set me up for all of the death tiers and the deaths in anime from then on, because it was like, oh my God, really, Wizardmon, what's happening? And then Gatomon has to be my favorite. I love Gatomon turning into Angelwoman. I was like obsessed as a kid. Kari, I dreamed of cosplaying as Kari as a kid because we had similar hair. My hair was the same cut as hers back then. Yeah, I absolutely loved Kari. She has the crest of light. I'm like, there's not a character that fits me more than Kari with Gatomon and Angelwoman. It just has to be. But Potamon is adorable. New female protagonist with the weed cat Pokemon. The weed cat. Yes, of course. And as a kid, I shipped Kari and TK. Who didn't ship Kari and TK? You had to ship Kari and TK. My one thing was I never shipped Ty or Matt with Sora either way. I was very indifferent about it. My brother was the biggest Kai and Sora shipper. So when we watched the end of season 2 and she ends up with Matt, my brother was so pissed. And I was like, ha ha ha. I was like, ha ha. I was secretly shipping Matt and Ty anyway. I was like, yeah, I was shipping Ty and Matt, but my brother was like, no, Ty and Sora forever. And I was like, okay. And then Matt ends up with her. And I lost my mind. I was like, this is what you get. So there was that. So yeah, we'll put Pokemon and Digimon under C for classics, as they should be. Now, this one series I wish that I had not watched before starting the channel. If I had not already seen this series in college, it would be one of the first things I would have wanted to react to on this channel. And that's Cowboy Bebop. I very much regret that I did not have a channel going to react to Cowboy Bebop when it started, because I remember being in college and that show was always on like midnights on Toonami. And I remember I'd be like studying or finishing up homework and I would turn on my TV and be like, okay, Cowboy Bebop. Like, yes, please. Cowboy Bebop to me is under amazing. I love that series so much. It would be C for classics. Could be C for classics, but I'm going to put under amazing just because I think it holds up. I think that series holds up so much. It's so damn good. I own the soundtrack. Like, it's one of the best anime soundtracks I've ever listened to. The bluesiness, the jazz, just how it all connects together. It's absolutely beautiful. Frank, I've actually thought about that. There are three series I've genuinely thought about doing retrospectives for. And that would be, I did it for Yuri on Ice about a few years ago. There are 3 series I've seriously thought about rewatching and re-examining now that it's been so long since I've seen it. Cowboy Bebop is one of them because I haven't really watched it since college. I've just listened to the soundtrack. So it'd be cool to go back as an adult and review it. The other 2 are Fooly Cooly. Fooly Cooly, I'm going to put under classics. I don't recall enough about Fooly Cooly, but I remember I watched it when I was first starting college and I was like, what the hell is this? And I think now that I've watched Neon Genesis, now that I've watched some other series that have been kind of bonkers, I think I could go back to Fooly Cooly and be like, okay, what is this actually about? And give it a much more nuanced view than I did watching it as a teenager. And then the other one is Devilman Crybaby. Devilman Crybaby is, it was like in 2019, like right before I started this channel, it came out on Netflix. And Devilman Crybaby, I remember it like came out on Netflix and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this tonight. It's like 8 p.m. I'm going to watch an episode or 2 and just see what's up with it. And then at 4 a.m. I was like, what is happening to my brain? And that was it. And then it was just over. And I was like, and I'd like cried, I'd screamed, I'd like been terrified, had an existential crisis, all the things that you do when you watch Devilman Crybaby. And so I feel like I would want to go back and rewatch. And I've not watched Devilman Crybaby in the English dub. I've not done that. So I could technically rewatch it at some point and do it in the dub, and that would be fine. So we'll see about that. That could be something that's interesting. Because, yeah, I feel like it's been long enough since I've watched Cowboy Bebop, Devilman Crybaby, and Fooly Cooly that I don't quite remember what happened. So I need to go back. And rewatch it. But yeah, speaking of which, I was just talking about Devilman Crybaby, so we're gonna bring it up here. I'm gonna bring it up here to badass because I'm just like, what the hell is that series? What are we doing with it? I would say in the same vein, Fooly Cooly would go under. I'm gonna put Fooly Cooly under. I'm going to put under don't recall because I don't recall enough about Fooly Cooly. I feel really bad, but I don't remember enough about it. So I'm going to put under don't recall because I'm like, ugh. I feel like I need to rewatch Fooly Cooly because I would get more out of it now than when I watched it. I was like 18 and didn't know enough about anime or manga to really get all the references and what it was paying homage to. And I feel like if I watched it now, I'd be like, oh, that's a reference to that. Oh, that's that. So I may like later this winter do a poll of series that I watched before the channel that I've forgotten about, like Fooly Cooly, Devilman Crybaby, Cowboy Bebop. Might put Fruits Basket on there, Hunter x Hunter, and just do like one to like go back over and review. So that's something to think about. That would be, Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, I did not include Yu-Gi-Oh! On here because I've not watched the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. My brother, Killer Queen, was the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, and it was one of those things like if you ever have a sibling and your sibling likes something, and when you're kids, if your sibling likes something, you automatically don't like it because you just want to irritate them and you find it annoying. Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid, my brother was obsessed with it. He had all the cards. He played the card games. I couldn't stand how much he loved Yu-Gi-Oh! And he tried to get me to play with him. And I was like, and then he'd master the card game. So when I played him, I'd lose automatically. And I'd be like, what the fudge is this? So I never really got into Yu-Gi-Oh! I have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged though. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged because everything I was making fun of at the time, the show makes fun of in there. So it's hilarious. Like screw the rules, I have money, and Yugi, and then Joey's like Brooklyn accent Yugi. Like mwah, eat it up. It's just so good. So yeah, I would put Yu-Gi-Oh! Under classics just to have it there, but I didn't watch the whole series. I just know all the jokes about Blue Eyes White Dragon and and that's it. Oh, the Pokemon card game is pretty ridiculous, but I do love. I got the card game, Frank, mainly just for the artwork on the cards. Like I always thought the card art was really cool. But my brother and I, we'd go to like a game corner store and play the card games just for fun, like on Saturdays or something when we were kids. But yeah, so I'm gonna put Philly Cooley under Don't Recall because I need to go back and see it. Let's go back to some others that I've already seen. There were two movies when I was in college. I was doing a capstone project and I was just getting back into anime and manga for the first time because I had kept up with Bleach and One Piece and things like that, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I was doing a capstone project for my English class, and the thesis I chose was that I've always been obsessed with like World War II and World War II information, and I was getting back into manga and anime, and so I chose to do a thesis project on looking at the war propaganda from the position of the Japanese. So I was choosing like we'd done a big segment about World War II because my professor was obsessed with it too, but it was talking about American propaganda, like American war movies and American like slogans and marketing and poster art and things that got people like to join the draft and things like that for World War II. And I wanted to look at it from the Japanese perspective of seeing how did they view World War II? How did they view the aftermath of it in comparison to the US? And there were two movies that I was recommended to watch for that capstone project. And one was Grave of the Fireflies, and the other was Barefoot Again. Barefoot Again and Grave of the Fireflies were the two. I would argue that watching shows like Attack on Titan and seeing shows like Vinland Saga, they do affect our perceptions of war and how the people involved are treated and how we view them. But I would argue that Grave of the Fireflies and Barefoot Again changed my entire perception about war. Like just changed my entire perception about the people involved in it, how I feel about it, what I think about violence and war in general. I think Barefoot Again and Grave of the Fireflies is absolutely the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. Grave of the Fireflies, Akane, I went to the movie store to rent it, and I walked up to the counter with Grave of the Fireflies. I set it on the counter. The man looked at it, looked at me, and said, "So you've chosen the saddest movie in this entire store." I went, "What?" He's like, "This is the saddest thing we have here." And I was like, "Okay." And then I watched it and sobbed and was like, "Yes, it is." So I have to put Grave of the Fireflies under classics because I think if you've not seen Grave of the Fireflies, it is the saddest thing I've ever seen, and it's heartbreaking. It's that last number, Home Sweet Home, that track. I'm getting emotional now just mentioning it. I can't play it without tearing up. It's such a visceral, beautiful track that is encapsulating the climax of the movie in such a quiet and perfect way. Just terrifyingly sad. And then Barefoot Again as well Barefoot Again is a little bit propaganda-ish in its own right, but it has every right to be because you're talking about an atomic bomb. It's horrific. Barefoot Again is a horrific film. The animation quality is not nearly anything like Grave of the Fireflies, but it is absolutely traumatizing to watch. And if you really want to see, I loved researching it afterwards and seeing the mangaka came from like he was involved in Hiroshima. So like coming from that and talking about their own experience and relating that into a visual art form, it's terrifying. And it really puts into perspective like the viewpoint of someone who survived that incident and what they thought from it. So Barefoot Again and Grave of the Fireflies, two of the saddest things on this tier list. I highly recommend them. They are classics, but they are not for the faint of heart. I would not go in them watching, expecting any feel goods. No. Mm-mm. Yeah. The 4th of July by Sufjan. Oh, Sufjan Stevens. You literally just, that artist right there, you could play anything of his, like with a certain visual image, and it would be the most horrible. That song is so sad in itself. Like, nope, I can't do that. I would cry. Mm-hmm. That's a really good point, Frank, about Barefoot Again inspiring Terminator 2. I could totally see that. Yeah, that influence definitely seems like it's there, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. We might as well. Well, let's not talk about horrifically sad things anymore. Let's talk about the big four. Let's talk about the big four series that, like I said, I watched before starting this channel. I've had so many people ask if I would react to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and every time somebody comments asking me to watch it, I feel so heartbroken because I'm like, I've already seen it and it's one of my favorites. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish I could turn back time. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is honestly, I'm going to put it under amazing. Is it my favorite series of all time? No. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I say big four because I think it's right up there with Bleach and One Piece and Naruto. I guess they're the big three, not only because they're the big three shonen, but they're like the longest shonen. But I think in terms of quality, I would put Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood right up there with them. I feel like Full Metal Alchemist gets the reputation of being just because it's good. It's just solid. It's a solid series. There's nothing wrong with it. Is it the most outstanding, amazing thing I've ever seen? No, but it's wonderful. And what I love about it is it's a female mangaka. Whenever people are like, oh, well, female writers can't write shonen characters, I'm like, look at Full Metal Alchemist. That's a female mangaka who was raised on a dairy farm. And she wrote this story because of her imagination and just wanting to tell this cohesive narrative. And it's beautiful. Like, I feel like it has some of the, I think, and I agree that the comedy bits in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are, it's kind of like, I'll use Attack on Titan as an example. Isayama has a very distinct sense of humor in Attack on Titan and is not afraid to match that humor with the series. There's not a lot of funny moments in Attack on Titan, but the funny moments are really dark and they match Isayama's humor. With Full Metal Alchemist, I feel like maybe the mangaka tries a little bit into making the comedy stand out and it doesn't need to all the time. But I, like you said, Killer Queen, I really enjoy Full Metal Alchemist. It was what kind of brought me to the shonen dance outside of Dragon Ball Z, but it's not a series that I'm like, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's just, it's fine. There's no issues with it. It's just a really good series overall. Yeah. I've not been in the fandom, Amy, so I don't know exactly how the Full Metal Alchemist fandom is. I was not really a big part of that, but I still find it's fine. It's okay. But yeah, we need to talk about the great three, the big three: Naruto and One Piece and Bleach. I'm gonna do the one that I know least first, and I'm gonna put that under classics in Naruto. Like I said, my brother was the biggest Naruto fan growing up. He loved his main series were Yu-Gi-Oh! And Naruto and Pokemon. Those were the three series he watched like religiously. And then so Naruto, Naruto was always his thing. He like started with from volume one of the manga, started from there, and just said, hello, Kelsey, and then just went from there. Naruto was his big thing. And as his sibling, I was always like, I don't want to read Naruto. I don't want to do that. No, you're my brother, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was in college, I got really sick one week. It was like over Christmas break. I was really sick and I was like in my bed. I was bedridden. I couldn't move. I had my laptop like in my lap. I was like feeling terrible. And my friend from college was like, have you ever read Naruto? It just finished. You could read it now and read it from start to finish. And maybe you'd like it. Like he was a big Naruto fan too. So I did. I spent a week in bed with the flu, bedridden, eating rice, reading Naruto from start to finish online, like with fan translations. I started from chapter one, read the whole series in a week. Yeah, it's fine. I like it. There was characters that I really like. My brother has some very salty opinions about it. My brother is like one of the biggest fans of Naruto, but he has some opinions. My brother is like Amy. He loves OG Naruto, does not care for Shippuden as much. He's a purist, as you would say. I didn't mind Shippuden. I thought it was fine. But I started Naruto once it was finished. So I read the whole thing in like 1 week. So I did not have the full-on Naruto experience of reading it for 10 years and then deciding, you know, your preferences. So I feel like I am not the person to talk about with Naruto. I love the characters and there's plot points that I really love as well, but I'm not the Naruto person to ask. Now, One Piece and Bleach are my jam. Like One Piece and Bleach, I started at the same time and I have read One Piece since The first chapter of One Piece I ever saw was I was in a grocery store, saw a Shonen Jump magazine, opened it up, and it was the chapter where Luffy put the straw hat on Nami's head at Fish Island. And at that moment, I was like, I don't know what this series is, but I want to read it. And so I backtracked, started from the beginning, got back to Fishman Island there. And then from then on, I have read One Piece for nearly 20 years. So One Piece is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I love that series. Oda, in my mind, I know why people don't like One Piece. The art style gets a lot of people turned off. The fact that he goes on these convoluted arcs that last for years, that people are like, can we get out of this arc now? And so I get why people don't like One Piece. But if you followed it for so long, I give Oda the most respect because he has this vision, has this plan, and then just goes with it. It's like, and here's the thing, Lune, to talk to your thing. I don't interact with the One Piece fandom. I don't, because I've heard so many bad things. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna stay out of it. But I love One Piece for the storytelling and the fact that Oda somehow keeps it all together. I'm like, and there's things that have been mysteries for years that I'm like, Oda knows what he's doing. I respect him. And one thing about Oda is he's very honest. Like there's parts of One Piece that are kind of, fan servicey, and you're like, Oda, what are you doing? And then Oda comes out and says it. He's like, yeah, I know it's fan service. I know what I'm doing. It's here for a reason. This is just to indulge myself. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to be honest about it, I respect it. So yeah, I definitely, talking about Yamato is one of my favorite characters in the entire series. I love Yamato, one of the best characters that's been introduced. I love the statement that Oda makes with it. And I can absolutely understand, Yuri, what you're saying in the fandom, not understanding what Oda's intentions are. I'm like, Yamato is such an amazing character. I adore them. He's so good. I'm just like, yes, he's amazing. And I love what he does, what he represents for Shonen, right? That's what I love most about it. And that Oda's been doing this for nearly 25 years, right? He's been doing this manga for a long time. He has been able to see the trends and progression that we've been able to do in the content of manga and anime, and that it's not so closed off anymore. And so what I love about what Yamato represents is this kind of progressive state that in a shonen manga, you can have a trans character that is represented as such. And he's great. And also he's an amazing character. His interactions with Luffy, with Ace, mwah. Yeah, with the whole Wano arc, it's great. So I'm going to put One Piece, if I can find it on my tier list here. I'm going to put under classics. Absolutely. Now, I saved the best for last because around the same time I had that in that same Shonen Jump magazine, there was the chapter with Luffy putting the hat on Nami's head, right? And in that same Shonen Jump magazine, there was a chapter where a orange-haired guy in a cloak was talking to a woman that could turn into a cat or vice versa and was going off to rescue Rukia. And that chapter was right when they arrived in the Soul Society. That was the first chapter that I read of Bleach, where Ichigo was off to rescue Rukia, and I did the same thing. I had to backtrack, catch up, which is crazy to think that was like 9 volumes in at that point, right? But ever since then, from that moment on, I read Bleach week to week from start to finish until it ended right before I started this channel, and I was obsessed with Bleach. Bleach is like the one anime and manga, one of the ones I kept up with through college. Everything else I kind of like dropped to the wayside, but Bleach I kept up with. I have a big love-hate relationship with Bleach, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm planning to do a video about Bleach and recapping the manga leading up to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I want to react to the Bleach anime, the new seasons. I want to react to them so badly. I just don't have time right now, but that's like my fall plans. I'm like, in the fall, I want to react to Bleach and start from there and do the new seasons. But I love Bleach so much. The characters it has so many issues, like Edgar said. It has so many issues and problems, but at the same time, there's something fundamentally about it that draws you in. And it's like sucks you in. And I'm going to try to articulate it in that manga recap. I'm going to try to articulate the best way that I can. But Bleach, I'm going to put Bleach under amazing because it is, for better or worse, it's just like, oh my God. And so, yeah, and it's fine. Again, like with the big 3, I feel like people have such varied opinions about them that they're fine. They're good. But yeah, I might put Bleach under classics too. Keep the big three together. Other than that, the only other series in college that I kept up with outside of Bleach was Black Butler, and I've kind of let Black Butler fall to the wayside. I read Black Butler up until when they're at the university, and I honestly watched the first 2 seasons of it, and that's it. So I've not seen the Titanic arc. I've not seen any of the manga past where they're at the university. I have not kept up with Black Butler at all since college, but I have a lot of volumes of it. It's on the shelf over there. You can't see it. But I would like to eventually catch back up with it. But I would put it under badass. I love Black Butler's art style. Black Butler's art style is beautiful. The series is macabre. It's cool. It has that like Faustian twist to it. It's just really, really nice. Yeah, Lune, I just kind of fell out of love with it. And so that's kind of what happened. Hello, Tony Simi. I kind of fell out of love with it. I really loved Black Butler for a long time, and then it just kind of like went and then I didn't get back into it. So it's something that I would eventually like to go back and retrace my steps with and see what all ended up happening. Who knows, right? So yeah, it's one of those things you kind of fall out in love with it, but I would like to get back to it. One that I'm kind of like basically good with is Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It was a Kiwani work that I watched with my brother before starting the channel. It's fine. It's okay. I'm fine with it. It doesn't really like maybe go, it's great, but Dragon Maid's fine, you know. Lune, Yana Tobosu, the artist for Black Butler, also makes design for Twisted Wonderland. Oh, I've seen Twisted Wonderland promotional material, but I didn't know it was the same artist. That's really cool. Thank you for telling me that. But yeah, Dragon Maid. And here's the thing, y'all. Here's the thing. I feel like I'm not the target audience for Dragon Maid. I'm not the target audience for that series. Big boobed ladies don't really. So if that was what you're trying to get at, then I'm just like, it was fine. A 7 out of 10, Akane. I think so too. I was just kind of like, it's okay. It has some cute moments. I like when they're under the little yukata and everything. It's really cute. Or the table that has the blanket. That's really cute moments. And I like the one guy in the series, the only guy that's kind of weird. And he tries to like sell hentai magazines. I liked his character a lot. He was really funny. But oh, Killer Queen. I said that the series, it is definitely aimed at a certain audience, and the big boobs just don't quite do it for me. So if you're trying to entice me to watch a series with big boobed characters, you are not aiming for the right target audience. That is not the right incentive for me. But yeah, but it was cute. I thought it was fine. And that kind of goes the same. I'm going to put under Don't Recall. I'm going to put here, I can't even think of the name of it. It's the life of middle school boys, the secret life of the hijinks of high school, middle school boys. You all will probably say the name of it down below in the chat, but it was about a bunch of high school boys and like them running through antics. It was a comedy series. I was watching it alongside Semblance of Sanity when they were doing their reactions to it, and it was fine. But again, like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, I am not the target. Daily Lives of High School Boys. Thank you. I am not the target audience because I'm not a high school boy. So I was not the target audience for that series. And you could definitely tell. I was like, it's fine. It's okay. It was kind of cute. If you're a guy and you can relate, you probably love that series. It did not resonate with me like you would expect. Hello, Rufik. Hello from France. Yay. I would say bonjour, but that's like the only French word I know. Yeah, Tony sent me. It was fine. It was cute. It was okay. Now, one show that is for me and that I completely relate to that I've not seen the new season for, so I don't want spoilers, but one show that is amazing to me. I love Agretzko. Agretzko, you guys can't see it, but my mouse pad is Agretzko. I've used it so many years. It has this nasty mark, so don't pay any attention to it. But yeah, Agretzko, I freaking love that series. I relate to her so much. I started watching that series when I got my full-time job, and I could relate to her and the office workers she has with. I'm like, oh, I have watched seasons 1 and season 2 of Agretzko. I've not watched season 3. I've watched the first 2 seasons of it. I've not watched the others. And I watched the Christmas special, but I've not got a chance to watch the other ones yet. but it's so cute. I relate to her character so much. I love that she karaoke's grunge death metal. I love Hai's character, the hyena. I love his Haiji, his character. Love him. It's just a really good series. So I'm putting it amazing. It's great. If you've not seen Agretzko, you should definitely watch it. Aside from that, Dragon Ball Z. Okay, I know this. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, this is not as high as you should rank it." But of all the series that I think influenced me as a child, influenced me as a reactor, influenced me with anime and manga, there are two series that influenced me the most, and that would be Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. I think that you can't get more classic than either of those series. They're on polar opposite sides of the spectrum. Your shoujo classic upon classic Sailor Moon, your shonen classic upon classic Dragon Ball Z. I think if you think of shonen, you think Dragon Ball Z. You think of shoujo, you think Sailor Moon. They're so good. And they influence me on like a very personal level. So I can't not put Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon in the saintly categories because they're the one that brought me to the dance. I would not be doing this channel right now. I would not be watching anime if it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Would not be doing it because they're just that good. I love them so much. Dragon Ball Z is just, I know it gets so much flack for how long, like the Namek arc took years. I'll agree with Killer Queen. JoJo's has been around longer than Dragon Ball Z as being the grandfather, and DBZ is the daddy of Battle Shonen. I will eventually get to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure one of these days. My brother's been begging for it for years. I will get to it eventually. I know I will. But DBZ, for all of its flaws, it's just so good, and the characters are iconic. You can just, anytime you ask anybody what an anime character is, they will probably know Dragon Ball Z before they know anything else. It's just so good. And then let me find Sailor Moon on here and put it up there as well. Where are you, Sailor Moon? There we go. Somebody asked a question about Sailor Moon. Who is my favorite Sailor Scout? Okay. If I had to say aesthetically, it's Sailor Pluto because time travel, keeper of time, the long green flowy hair, the beautiful giant scepter. I'm like, how queenly do you get than Sailor Pluto? And plus, since people don't think Pluto's a planet anymore, I got to represent the generation that grew up with Pluto as a planet. So I'm like, Pluto is aesthetically my favorite Sailor Scout. But if I was going by personality, it's Sailor Moon. It's Serena. I would probably, if I was a character on there, I'd probably be Serena or Amy or a mix between Mercury and Moon. I'd be a mix between them if I were an actual character on the show. Or I'd be Molly. Come on, Serena. I'd be Molly. But yeah, I would definitely say Sailor Pluto and Sailor Moon are my favorites. But you can't go wrong with Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon honestly introduced me to LGBTQ. So I have that to thank for that. So I'm like, thank you, Sailor Moon. Thank you for giving us life lessons about gender and sexuality and everything. Thank you. Great times. But yeah, so I got those under our saintly. Sailor Mars is great. Oh, Ray is wonderful. Kelsey, I could see you liking Sailor Mars. Sailor Mars is so fiery and like, this is how it's going down, right? I always wanted to cosplay Sailor Jupiter because I had the brown hair. But yes, the cousins. Okay, so just real quick tangent about Sailor Moon, and then we'll move on. But when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. And so my grandmother had, it was predating the internet. She had what we call web TV. And it was basically like a smart TV back then, but you had the internet hooked up to your television. My great grandmother had this. She was like really tech savvy for being an 80-year-old lady. And I would go to her house, and if it was raining that day, she'd let me get on web TV. And I would look up coloring sheets of Sailor Moon, and I'd print them off and color them at her house because she had like a printer and stuff. But as a kid, I remember watching the dub, and I watched the deep dub, and they were cousins, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. And I was always like, I know I'm from near Kentucky, but even that's weird. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? And so they tried to make Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune cousins because the dub studio couldn't acknowledge that they were lesbians, that they were together. And I was like, what's happening? And so as I was 8 years old at the time, and I was like, why is this so weird? And so I got on her web TV and looked it up and looked up the Wikipedia page where it talked about Neptune and Uranus being actual lovers. And as a kid, I remember going, well, why the hell did they make them cousins? It did not dawn on me why they had to do that. I, as an 8-year-old, I did not understand the prejudice between LBGTQ plus communities at the time because of just the region I grew up in and the area. I was very sheltered in terms of that, and so it just didn't hit me. Like I didn't understand as a kid why they couldn't just be lovers in the show, why that made a difference. I'm like, we have Tuxedo Mask and Serena, why can't they be together? And so, for an 8-year-old to come to that realization that, yeah, there's something wrong, it was just one of those things because incest is more appropriate. I was like, I don't think that I've got some cousins from Kentucky, but we don't kiss each other. It's like, no. But yeah, and then of course I started digging deeper into it and discovered the whole thing about the Sailor Stars and the fact that they wouldn't show them in America. They wouldn't translate the final season because there was a whole issue of transgender. And it made me really become more aware of kind of the prejudice against the characters in the show and how that translated into real life. So honestly, I have Sailor Moon and I have the deep dub and censorship to thank for me learning about these things and at a young age forming opinions about them. So there's that. So, but yeah, I always thought that was really, really neat. So yeah, Sailor Moon, Alabama cousins. Oh my God. Yeah, I was just like, why? Why are we doing this? Another show that I watched before starting this channel was Beastars. I've seen season 1 of it. I'm gonna put it under badass or basically good. I liked Beastars a lot. I really liked it. Beastars was really cool. I know there's a season 2. My brother has kind of spoiled me to a plot point that happens in Beastars, and that's the only reason it's made me hesitant to watch anymore. I was like, wait, what? And this was before I started the channel. We were watching season 1 of Beastars, and he's like, oh yeah, well, this happens with this one character. And I was like, huh? And since then I was kind of like, wait, what? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you anymore. So I've been always curious about it. I was like, is that really what's going on? But I haven't watched season 2 to know what happens and if they come across that plot point in the actual season. I don't think they do. And my brother was like, it happens towards the end of the story. And I was like, oh God. So yeah, Beastars, Monstars. I was a big Space Jam fan back in the day. So eventually I would love to see Beastars season 2. That would be something I would probably do it like what I did with Demon Slayer. I did a review of Demon Slayer season 1 because I'd watched that before season 2. And then I would start season 2. So if I get to Beastars, I would definitely do the same, right? So other things I've watched before diving into this, if there's anything else, I kind of watched this only for Patreon because YouTube wouldn't let me post it because copyright's stupid. But I watched Slam Dunk's anime. I'm going to put it under classics. I love Slam Dunk. It's great. I don't want to spoil anything for those that have not watched Slam Dunk. It is not, I like Kuroko's basketball more. I like Real more. But I did like Slam Dunk a lot. I think Slam Dunk Slam Dunk walked so Kuroko's could run. You had to have Slam Dunk, get the foundation of basketball for anime before you could do Kuroko's basketball. I feel like that was very, very good. And also, if you've watched Haikyuu, Furodate takes a lot of references from Slam Dunk. I remember when I was reading the manga Slam Dunk, I was like, there's a lot of plot points and character arcs that Haikyuu kind of mirrors from Slam Dunk and borrows from it. I'm not saying Furodate's, plagiarizing. I'm not saying that at all. I feel like that Slam Dunk does things really, really well. But yeah, if you go back and rewatch Haikyuu, and I would argue Killer Queen that Daya may have some similarities, but Haikyuu borrows a lot from Slam Dunk. And there was points where I was like, Furodate, you just basically took this entire character's arc and just made it into a Haikyuu character. And I was like, okay. I'm not slandering Furodate at all because I love Haikyuu a lot, but I was just like, huh. But yeah, I feel like the ending of Slam Dunk makes me kind of go, I feel like there was so much more they could have done, but I discussed that in a Slam Dunk video that's on Patreon. So yeah. Hello, Lake So. Other than that, I did watch Assassination Classroom. I'm going to put it under badass. I watched Assassination Classroom with Semblance of Sanity when they were doing their reactions to it. My brother loved Assassination Classroom, so he convinced me to watch it before starting the channel. It's a solid show. I cried at the end of it. So there you go. I teared up and cried at the end of season 2 of Assassination Classroom. It was a fun show, had a lot of good ships in it, really good moments. I love Kuro Sensei. He's such a great character. Again, another show that I wish I hadn't watched before starting the channel, but Alas, there we go. But it is a really, really good show. I like it a lot. And then any other ones I've seen? I have seen Ouran High School Host Club, the anime. I've not read the manga all the way through. I do like Ouran High School Host Club. I'm gonna put it under classics. I like Ouran High School Host Club a lot. It's just a really good shojo. I feel like it's a great show. If you've not watched it and you like shojo, you should. And then eventually, I have watched the very first season of Fruits Basket when it came out, like in the early 2000s. The first season of Fruits Basket I watched, and then I read the manga. But again, that was early 2000s. That was nearly like 20 years ago. So eventually I would like to watch the 2019 version. That's on my list to poll later on this fall. I would like to eventually watch it again and see it all the way through animated, because I've forgotten a lot from Fruits Basket. I remember the characters for the most part. I remember some of the plot points, but I've forgotten a lot. So it would be nice to go back and re-experience it. Who's my favorite host? Oh, Takami. Oh, absolutely. Miyano Mamoru's character, 100%. Yes, I mean, let's be real. He's the heartthrob. He's the prince. Although I do love the one with the glasses. Beautiful. Do love him. Right. I do love that. The original Oikawa. So yes, I would put Fruits Basket under classics as well. Would love to get back to it. Did you read the entire manga? I did, but again, it's been like 20 years. So I read it like in the early 2000s. So I kind of know how it ends, and I remember some plot points, but I don't remember all of it. But that's kind of been why I think it hasn't done well in the polls, because people know that I know what happens. So if I rewatched the 2009, if I watched the 2019 version, it would basically be like me rewatching the series and doing like a play-by-play of it. There'd be parts that I wouldn't remember, but then there'd be other parts I'm like, I kind of know what's going to happen, but I don't. The arcs with Rin and her character, I remember the least. Those are the ones I remember the least. So if I went back and rewatched, those would probably be all surprising. I remember the beginning very well, and I know the ending because I was very happy with it. But this, like, not entirely good with it. Okay. Any other that I've already read or watched? I watched the movie Summer Wars. It was basically good. Put Summer Wars on there. It was all right. I liked it fine. I don't have any complaints with it. What have I got here in the chat? Favorite Fruits Basket characters? Oh, I would say Kyo, the cat, best character. I liked Shigure until I didn't like Shigure. I liked Shigure's character until I didn't. And then Kyo is I always related so much to Kyo. I loved his character journey. He was one of my favorites. I was like, give the cat spirit all the love. He deserves it 100%. I would say, Akane, it's going to be a while before I get to Fruits Basket, so you've probably got time. Hatsuharu is good too. Yes, as a girl that was raised on a farm, gotta love the bull spirit. I love him. He's great. Hattori is such a good character too. They're all just really good characters as well. And I would agree, Yuki, character development. Like, you can't go wrong with the Zodiac characters. You just can't. Ayame, such a troll. Like, I love those characters so much. So it would be nice one day to go back and rewatch the series and re-experience the magic with all of the Fruits Basket characters, because they're so damn good and they have such good character development. It's such a great show. It's been so long since I've read and watched it. I would eventually like to get back to it. Would have liked to do that eventually. I have this one series on here. It's one of the last ones I have that's on here. My brother convinced me to watch it with him. I would one day love to. I did some rants on Tumblr about it, like back in the day, but I would eventually love to do just like a rant about this series, because it's one that I'm just like, what? You all talk about like trash watching. I know a lot of people like this series, but it gives me so many problems. And my brother really likes this series. And this is where my brother and my tastes start to differentiate a little bit, where he really likes this series. And I'm kind of like, he was like, you should watch it with me. It'll be really great. And we started watching it and I was like, I'm not sure how to react to this. Okay. And that is Seven Deadly Sins. Seven Deadly Sins is a mind-boggling series. It is baffling to me. There are parts of it I'm like, what is happening? What? Oh, my brother loves Baki too. My brother loves Baki. I watched one clip of Baki with him and I was like, nope. I was like, maybe one day, Baki, we'll see. My brother loves Baki, and I'm like, oh, I can't. I don't think that I don't think that I can do it. But then, yeah, are you sure he's your brother? Yes. Okay, yeah, Baki is JoJo, but even more out of the box. I can believe that. My brother loves JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. My brother loves Baki. He loves Seven Deadly Sins. He loves reincarnated as a slime. I'm just like, I think our tastes are somewhat different. A little bit. We are not the target audience. No, and Seven Deadly Sins, it's not. Here's the thing. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, I get it. There's big boob characters. You are targeting a male audience that will appreciate a character with that. I'm not going to body shame any female character at all. If you got really big boobs, congratulations. You're beautiful. Awesome. But with Seven Deadly Sins, it's not even the context of how the characters look in that series, but it's the fact that the plot does some really ridiculous things that I'm like, how do we get from point A to point M? How did we do that? How did we go there? And my brother's like, it'll all be explained later. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So I like went on a big tangent about you, like that series. It just throws things at you without setting anything up. And then a season later, they're like, oh, here was that backstory you needed back at the beginning of the series. And I'm like, why didn't we preview that? Why didn't you? It's like the series expected the birds to come without any crumbs being laid down. And then once the birds got there and they were like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden the show's like, here's a loaf of bread. And you're like, why? Why did you do this, show? And so, yeah, that series gives me a lot of problems. So one day if I get the time, I'll sit down and write about why it bothers me so much. But to be fair with Seven Deadly Sins, Killer Queen, I just saw your comment. Bon is the best character in the whole damn series. Bon's storyline is the one storyline I was like, okay, I'm all for this part of the series. I am okay with, but I think Anime Annie hits it on the nose that I've watched series now like Heaven Official's Blessing and Modao Zushi that have shown how to properly do a breadcrumb storyline where you get things happening and you get things threaded back together. And it's done so well that when I watch a series and it's not done up to that high standard, it suddenly is a problem for me, if that means. But I do love Bon a lot. Bon is the best storyline in the whole series. I will defend Bon. Everybody else, I'm kind of like, I'm watching you. But yeah, Bon is amazing. And so, yeah, I could understand that watching it just for Bon. My brother, yeah, I can understand when my brother was talking about reincarnated into a slime. I was like, oh no, I totally get that. I understand where you're coming from. Seven Deadly Sins, I'm going to put into don't recall because I need, or not enough data. I need to go back and re-see that series. But yeah, Baki is just, there's so much muscle. So much muscle. Another series that was basically good that I liked, that I watched before this channel was Space Dandy. I watched that with Semblance of Sanity and watched their reactions. Space Dandy was a lot of fun. It was a cute show. It was really funny. I liked the Pompadour main character, the kind of trippy. It has like kind of a Fooly Cooly vibe to it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So there was that. And then any others that I had already seen. I have watched season 1 of Dr. Stone. Because I've had some people request Dr. Stone before. I have watched season 1 of Dr. Stone. It is fine. The Space Dandy opening is amazing, Killer Queen. Absolutely. I love Space Dandy's opening. I like Dr. Stone a lot. Here's the thing. My problem with reacting to Dr. Stone is that when I got done with season 1, and this is, we'll talk about Nozaki-kun. When I got done with season 1 of Dr. Stone, I didn't want to wait on the anime, so I started reading the manga. And I've read Dr. Stone from start to finish, so I've seen how it ends. And we'll just put quotation marks around ends because that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah. So whenever people are like, when an anime season ends and they're like, oh, just go read the manga now. I've only done that on a few rare occasions because one, I knew the manga had already ended and there was probably a chance that the anime is not going to be created, or like with Ace of the Diamond, I just didn't want to wait. And I knew it was going to be forever. So I was like, let's just go for it. But with Dr. Stone, I do have a regret. I do regret reading the manga right after finishing season 1 because I think it would have been better if I just waited and watched the anime alongside it. And I think my experience with that series would have been better. It's not a bad series. I think Dr. Stone is fine. It's just basically good. I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. I like the characters in it well enough. But yeah, it now makes me very questionable whether people are like, oh, well, the anime ended, so just read the manga now. And I'm like, I don't want to do that with some series. If I really, really like a series and I know there's a very good chance that it will get an additional season, like Chainsaw Man, like Vinland Saga, I don't want to read Jujutsu Kaisen. I've waited 2 years for Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, and we're here. I don't want to read that manga because I know that there's a likelihood those seasons will be made, and I want to enjoy it in an anime format. But with series like Yona of the Dawn, it's been 10 years. It's like, okay, I'm going to read the manga. And if they decide to make an anime, that'd be amazing. And then we'll go back to it. Or Toilet Banahana Cocoon, things like that. So yeah, I'm going to put Dr. Stone under the B rank there. It's pretty good. Any others that I can see on here that I've already watched or read? I definitely saw, was it A Silent Voice? A Silent Voice. Oh my God. A Silent Voice is amazing. I'm going to put that up here under the A rank. Silent Voice is one of my favorite anime movies. I love that movie so much. It's so good. Yes, it's just, again, it's an anime that I wish I hadn't watched before starting the channel because the movie is just so beautiful. I don't care for the dub as much, but the original Japanese sub, just absolutely gorgeous. And I have looked at the manga for it since watching the movie, and the manga is so good too. I'm like, dang it. So yes, Silent Voice is really, really good. Like it a lot. Or I've not read all of the manga. I've seen pages of it. So there is a chance maybe one day I'll go back and read the manga for it. But I have seen some clips or some pages from the panels in the manga, and it's really, really good. But Silent Voice. So it's such a beautiful romance. It's such a beautiful drama. I love it. Other than that, I think everything else on here are shows that I've seen. So now that only took an hour. Just took an hour to get through the ones that I've not seen yet that I'd seen before the channel. So there's that. But yeah. Hello, Clara. But yes, we are actually about to rank the series that I have looked at on this channel. Oh, there is one I left out. Oh my God. How could I forget Code Geass? How could I forget Code Geass? How could I? Code Geass, man. That series, I have like the box set of it from college that I got. Really liked Code Geass at the time. I have not watched it since I finished it. But I would say it's pretty solid all the way through. It is a solid show, and it has one of the better anime endings that I enjoyed. Without spoiling the ending, it's a hot mess. Yes, it is a hot mess, but it's one of those, it's a hot mess that you kind of just look back and go, it's fine. I feel like what I liked about Code Geass is the way that it ended. The way that it ended, I was satisfied with. I was like, all right, that's what you're gonna do, show? Fine. You want to go ballsy like that? Do it. Go for it. It was great. I appreciated it just taking the risk that it did. An endearing hot mess. Yes, Neil, I agree. An endearing hot mess. It's one of those shows you just look at and you go, oh my God, these characters, this plot, what is happening? And then you just kind of roll with it. And eventually it's like Stockholm Syndrome. You just accept it for what it is. I'm going to put Code Geass under classics because I feel like it's one of those anime that the moment you mention Code Geass, people are like, know what it's about, or they at least know what it is. Whatever their opinion is about it, you know that series. Whether you like it, whether you think it's a hot mess, whether you dislike it, everybody knows that series to an extent. And that makes it kind of classic for me. So yeah, I think that's everything that I had already watched on the character tier. So we might as well start with the shows that I have seen on this channel. Stockholm Syndrome is a perfect name for Code Geass. Yes. There is one series on here that was on my very first channel. It sadly got deleted and I had to restart my channel in December of 2020. But Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun was the first series I reacted to on my old channel. And I was a baka and I did not back anything up because I was like a emerging, blooming YouTuber that didn't know what they were doing. And so I hadn't thought about hard drives or backing anything up. And so I didn't save anything. I just posted on YouTube. And then it was when my channel was taken down, I lost everything for it. So I was like, ugh. So I don't have anything on Nozaki-kun again. But it was fine. I'm going to put it under basically good. Nozaki-kun is a big hot mess tease. And it's one of those things that it frustrates me so much because I was like, damn it. I was like, Nozaki-kun, I get that it's a comedy. And a lot of people at the time were saying, like, oh, it's a comedy. It's not really a romance. And I was like, well, damn it, it should be. And we should get some resolution. And we don't. And I've heard some people say that the manga goes into more detail and that you need to read the manga. And maybe one day I will read the manga for Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun and it will be better. But I just remember feeling like the biggest case of lady blue balls watching Nozaki-kun because I was like, you're going to end it here? Really? So I was like, just, yeah. So we're going to put it under B. Nozaki-kun. As the dub is really good though, Neil. I do admit, I do like the dub. I like it a lot. Okay, while we're on the subject of romance, we're going to get some of these movies and such out of the way. Jellyfish Diner, I did that was a BL short film. We're going to put it under B rank. It was pretty good. I liked it. Yes, No, or Maybe, we're going to put it under B ranked. I liked it as well. Sex Pistols. Oh my God, no, Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols. Oh my God. Oh, we're going to get to Promare. Lune, don't worry. But oh God, Sex Pistols. Where do you even rank that? Where do you even rank that chaos? That to this day, that Jane Yuyali entry, Sex Pistols, Love Pistols, is one of my favorite reactions I've done on this channel because I lost my mind. It's one of my favorite. If I'm ever, is it a JoJo's reference? It could be. But yeah, I feel like Sex Pistols and Love Pistols is one of the most bonkers, out there, ridiculous things I've ever watched in my life. And I can never forget it. It's seared into my brain. I will never get over it. And anytime that I want to laugh, I will go back and watch the bear couple, the community bears party. Yes. Oh my God. Sex Pistols needs its own category. I'm adding it right now, Anime Annie. I am adding a line. I'm adding a row below in that is just going to be called, I'm going to make it red. I'm going to make it a red category. Yes. And we're just going to call it, I'm going to change it right now, right here, and just going to make it the L category for Love Pistols. I can't. It is Pistols, the anime and the manga getting its own. Just sex rank. No, people will get confused if they weren't watching this live stream. They won't understand what's happening. But yeah, we're going to put it right there. What a bonkers series. I can't get over it. The bear community bears party and like a worm womb. Like what? I've read Omegaverse and that was even just like, what are we doing, show? And then I went and read the manga. Someone on Twitter did say that the mangaka is releasing volume 11 very soon. And like part of my brain like lit up because I was like, oh, you will get a chance to carry on and figure out what the hell's happening next because they ended on a cliffhanger and then decided to wait 10 years before posting another volume. You can't do that. That's what they did. And I was like, no. So yeah. Oh my God. I was like, okay. I'm just like, I need them to publish volume 11 of Sex Pistols so that I can read it and be satisfied somewhat for at least another year or two. What Omegaverse have I read? I mean, I've read fan fiction with Omegaverse in it. There's one series that I have read that I did really like. It's been on Twitter and stuff. You could see it. I can't remember the name of it, but it involved like the boy had dark hair and his love interest had light hair, and then he already had a little girl with someone else, and then they have like a kid together. It's really cute. Omegaverse isn't something that I like go to. It's not my like go-to genre by any means, but I've read it and it's like, it's fine. When it's done well, it's done well. When it's done poorly, then you're like, oh God, no. I've read some bad ones and I was like, I started reading it and went, nope. But I talked about that during Dick Fight Island. As I say it out loud, that reaction, I had like the spectrum and it was one of those on there. I think Scattering Your Virgin Bloom, awful. Didn't like it at all. I was like, no. That one was on there, but yeah. So I think if you do it really well, I see the potential of it. But when it's done poorly, it's like, oh God, no. Maybe, what is it? Curie, I'm going to look that up. You said curate isate. Is it curate? Let me see on here. What does it look like? Let me see if that one's what you're talking about. Curisade. As I like get on here. Is that it? I want to see images for it to see if that's the one. Yep, that's the one. Yep, that's it. Yep, that's the one. That one's really cute. I like that one a lot. I like that story. That's probably my favorite of all of them. Renaissance. I've not heard of that one. While we're still on this title of BL, I will say that we should get on here. Where's Fate at? Where's Fake? Fake. Where's Fake? I love them. Fake is one of my favorites. I want to get that on here. Find where Fake is. Fake is one of my favorites. It's amazing. I love the Fake series. It's Fake is one of my favorite BLs. It's from the 90s. It's hilarious. It's adorable. It's mature. It's still beautiful. Not Fate. No, Fate is on the poll right now on Patreon, and it will probably be on the poll again. My brother told me that if I ever get to Fate Zero, he would watch it with me, and I was like, awesome, cool, because we watched Arcane together. We did Arcane on there. So if Fate Zero ever wins, he's going to watch it with me. So that's exciting. And I'm going to tell him not to spoil me. But yes, Fake, if you're looking for a 90s BL, Fake is amazing. I love it so much. I did a Janu Yaoi about it and also did one about Embracing Love. Oh, Embracing Love. Embracing Love is a great series. I'm going to put it up here. Winter Cicada, Embracing Love. Beautiful 90s BL. Love it. Any other BL I have on here before I get to the live stream chat? Oh yeah. Oh gosh, Tightrope. Tightrope I'm gonna put it under. It's good. I like Tightrope a lot. Tightrope's a good one. Yeah, Fate Zero is not winning. Although, here's the thing, on the Patreon poll right now, I'm convinced there's some Game of Thrones conspiracy going on. I feel like people are now in the polls trying to like influence what's going to win. And there's like 3 front runners right now, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm excited for any of the series to win because I wanted to watch all of them, but I'm just like, Tightrope's really cute though. Yes, Tightrope. Tightrope's really sweet. It's very short, but it's a like sweet series. Jin Toki, when am I starting after Great Pretender? Well, here's the thing. I said this at the beginning of the live stream, but I've got so much going on right now. I started Vinland Saga just on its own as a whim. So I'm considering whatever wins the Vinland Saga poll to be the replacement for Vinland Saga and the Great Pretender. Right now, Thursdays on YouTube, and soon to be, I'm going to switch it over here next month on Patreon as well. But Thursdays are going to be Kuroko Day. Thursday is going to be Kuroko's basketball, all the extras, the manga, everything is going to be on Thursday with Kuroko, just like a double dip. We're going to be doing the Kuroko's manga reactions at the same time as all the extras because I've got so much Kuroko's basketball content to get through. I need to get through it before I start a new sports anime. And I don't want to wait until next year to start the next sports anime. So we're doing like a double dip of Kuroko's right now so I can watch everything with Kuroko's and be ready for the next series this fall. So that's the idea behind that. But yeah. Anything else? Oh, Seaside Stranger. Seaside Stranger. I would say Seaside Stranger, I'm going to put it under amazing as well. I really like Seaside Stranger. It's really good. I've been reading the manga as well, or I'll put under basically good. I like it a lot. It's badass as well. I like it a lot. But Seaside Stranger, it's a really good series as well. Lune, I love how much you started liking Kuroko. I didn't know how it would go considering you watched many sports anime. See, here's the thing. I love sports anime. And after watching Haikyuu and after watching Run with the Wind, and especially after Ace of the Diamond, I've come to the realization that I love sports anime. I could honestly just make this channel nothing but sports anime and I'd probably be fine with it. But then everybody else would be like, how about you get some variety in there? But I'm always going to have a sports anime on my channel at all times. I have to. There's so many good sports anime I know are yet to come. And there's just something about sports anime, the Nakama, the potential shipping, everything that I'm like, no, it hits the sweet spot for me so well that there's never not going to be a sports anime on this channel. Always has to be, just by far. That's what it is. It's just, Chihaya Furu is going to be on the sports anime poll to replace Kuroko's for sure. I've had that one requested so much. I'm really, really excited because there's just so many good sports anime I've not seen yet. I can't wait for it, right? So speaking of sports anime, let's go ahead and let's start this, right? Let's get into the sports anime that we've looked at. I'm going to put Stars Align under basically good. Stars Align, there are 3 series that there's been 3 series so far on this channel that I've had kind of mixed reactions with the endings of so far. One is The Great Pretender, which I just finished. One is number 6, which we'll talk about when we get to it. And then the third is Stars Align. I feel so, and I feel bad for Stars Align. I do, because it's not Stars Align's fault how it ended. It's not. And I feel so bad for it. So I would encourage anybody that has not seen Stars Align and likes sports anime to go ahead and watch it, because it does some things that are really progressive, that are really unique, that I've never seen a sports anime do before. The tone of it has a tone similar to Sarune sometimes, but then it has like this other element that's so bonkers and weird. And it takes a lot of risks as a series that I wasn't expecting. And then it's so sad because it had to be cut short. Like, and it wasn't even the creator's decision. It was literally like funding. And the most heartbreaking thing is I remember watching it around the time that it actually ended. And the mangaka was like going around, the creator was going around being like, I just need money to finish this. And nobody would give him money. I'm like, how many isekais do we have out there? And you can't finish this one series and sponsor it? It was so sad. I was so upset about it. But I really like Stars Align for what it was. It was just like tears. So I'm gonna put it basically good. Other sports anime that I would say under here to go along with that series. We could go ahead and talk about Sarune. I'm gonna put Sarune under amazing. I love Sarune. Sarune is such a great series. I will roast isekai because my brother, like, that's like the tiny bit of sibling left in me. My brother loves isekais, and I'm like, I just like to roast it because I'm like, just jabbing him a little bit. I've never seen an isekai, so I have no clue what's going on in those. I don't know if I want to know. It seems like that might be the poll of like the open Pandora's box. I don't know if we want to go there. But Sarune, speaking of Stars Align, I felt a similar vibe when starting Sarune with Stars Align. The fact that Sarune has such like a calm, serene zen to it, but it's so beautiful, right? Hey, Kelsey, you're back up. Share back up for sports anime. Yeah, we're going through the sports anime right now where I rank them. Stars Align is a B rank for me, but Sarune is A rank. I really love Sarune a lot, and it's just the animation. The animation alone, say it makes it like A rank. I think Sarune's animation alone is worth viewing. Even if you don't like sports anime, even if you don't like really calm, chill anime, you want something really high action packed. If you love good animation, watch Sarune just for the animation alone. It's just like an eyegasm. Like every time you like each episode just is like frame after frame after frame. You just want to take screenshots of it over and over again because it's just so good. Killer Queen, I am doing that. I am saving Gaia for last because I have to. So yes, I would say Sarune. Sarune is archery. It's Kyudo. It's really good. I would say that Kyoani does a lot of things with sports anime where they have the framework of the story surrounding this sport, but it's not really tied to the sport. Like you learn a lot about the sport, don't get me wrong. But it's a chill sport, Kyudo is. But it's really good. I like Sarune a lot. The characters are really good. I love the characters a lot in Sarune, and the show takes a lot of time developing the characters. So if you're a character-driven person like I am, Sarune is definitely one for you. Oh, isekai. Yeah, I agree, Akane. When I think of isekai, it feels like a parody. And I think because I've heard so many people say the meme all the time of, oh, Truck-kun hit so-and-so, and now they've been reborn as a vending machine, which is a thing, right? So I was like, my brother was telling me about the isekai where they're reborn as a vending machine. And I was like, this just seems like it's jumping the shark at this point. And he's like, oh no, it's actually pretty good. And I was like, shut up. It's like, I don't believe you. I think you're lying to troll me into watching it. I don't believe you're telling the truth. So I don't know. I'm just like, the memes are funny indeed. So speaking of character development, if you like character-driven sports anime, like Sarune, then you have to Run with the Wind has to be A ranked. Run with the Wind has to be A ranked for sure. It's amazing. I loved Run with the Wind. Oh my God, it's such a great solid series. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to devote like 50 episodes to something, then 24 episodes, Run with the Wind, do it. Just solid. It's just an absolute like A series, solid. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. I could sing its praises. It's one of those that it's like I would rank like Run with the Wind is up there in my comfort anime. Like Run with the Wind, Sarune, Free, they're like comfort anime. If I'm feeling bad, I'm like, if I need some motivation, I'm gonna go watch Run with the Wind because it's just like when you're jogging, you listen to the soundtrack. Haiji is like best boy. Like Haiji is one of my favorite main characters. I'm like, dude, I relate. I love him so much. I want to like put him in my pocket and take him with me. I just and the fact that Run with the Wind takes place during college, it feels like a sign-in. It's more mature. It doesn't deal with like high school drama. It's all about like adults. And I feel like as an adult watching, it's the issues they come in contact with are very relatable. And so I love it. Run with the Wind, a series. Haiji, my boy. We would all adopt them. I remember back when I first started watching it, I was saying like, I love Haiji. I just like want to claim him as my own. And people in the comments were like, get in line. Get in line. Yes, indeed. All right. Other sports anime that we have. Yuri on Ice. Yuri on Ice, y'all. A rank. Yuri on Ice, A rank. Yep. Get that sucker up there. We were born to make history. We were born to make history, and that is with Yuri on Ice, my friends. I love that series so much. Like I said in the last live stream about Kyoani, if Kyoani just wants to take the reins, take Ice Adolescents for themselves, and just take it over and finish that damn movie, I'm all for it. I'm not going to stop you. Do it, man. I'm all for it. But yeah, Yuri on Ice is just so damn good. And it's definitely deserving of the A ranking. It was one of the first series I watched like right before the pandemic happened. So it really helped me get through the pandemic, if I'm being honest. I'm like, oh, love it so much. Other sports anime that we have to talk about. Free. Oh, Free. Oh, Free. Sweet Free. Where do we even start with Free? I mean, it is A ranked for sure. Is it saintly? I mean, 50% off. Is it saintly? I'm not going to put it in saintly only because of the movies. The movies like keep it a little bit out of that because that is like a little point of like, I know we were complaining last week, the last live stream about some of the movie choices and how it was still good, but I'm going to put Free in A rank. Free, I'm going to keep my comfort anime together. I'm going to keep Sarune, Run with the Wind to watch when I'm not feeling good. I will put that on and boom, I can fall asleep to that. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. It's just so good. And then, yes, the 50% off parodies are just absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, we talked a whole like 2 hours last week about Free. So we'll save that. So we're down to the other ones, getting down here to the wire with our sports anime. Skate the Infinity. A rank, baby. A rank for Skate the Infinity. I'm so excited for whatever else comes out of that. Mm-hmm. Skate the Infinity is such a trip. I love that series. It's so good. I feel like very similar to Buddy Daddies, which we'll eventually talk about. I like that Skate the Infinity is a series. It's anime original that just took a risk. Just took a risk. A rank for Adam. The drinking game, the Skate the Infinity drinking game. Yes, I just absolutely loved the period of the channel when we were watching Skate the Infinity. It was just such a fun time. And that series just incites so much like fun energy. It's so great. I absolutely love it. I'm excited they're going to do more with the series. I'm not ready to be done with it. I'm just eagerly like sitting on my hands waiting for them to do more. But it's just like, I love studios that take a risk with something fun like that. And then the English dub, so good. So good. I love that somebody popped in the channel labeled Blue Lock. It says Blue Lock. Oh, what a troll. What a troll. Who knows? We don't know. Blue Lock will probably be on the sports poll to replace Croco's. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't want any spoilers, but it will probably be on the poll. So we'll see. We'll see. Ha ha ha. But yes, Matcha Blossom needs to get canon. Lots of things need to get canon in that series. The English dub, Bitches, Bros, and Non-Binary Hoes is like the best, Akane. I absolutely agree. All right. So as far as, yes. Kelsey, I love it. Oh, Blue Lock always jumping in when it's not wanted. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. If y'all spoil me, I ain't going to watch it. So don't be doing none of that. But yeah, none of that. But yeah, so back to the sports anime, the ones that I have left that I've already watched to talk about. You know what? I will put Haikyuu in A rank. Haikyuu is one that brought me to the sports anime dance. It's one that got me there. Hello, Yotif. Hello, thank you for subscribing. I Haikyuu is one that got with me. I think it got me into sports anime a lot, and so I all the y'all in the chat, let's keep the Blue Lock stuff to a minimum, please, because I have not watched it and I don't want to be spoiled. So please and thank you. If y'all don't want me to watch it, keep talking about Blue Lock. But if y'all want me to watch it, please change the subject. Let's talk about Haikyuu instead. So, Haikyuu, I got me into sports anime for sure. And I would say that it's a series that just definitely holds up. I really like it. But oh my god, I'm like trying to look at that. Thank you, Haikyuu. Blue Lock, thank you for saying Haikyuu. Yay, raw. I am a little bit nervous. I am a little bit nervous about Haikyuu at this point because I love seasons 1 through 4 a lot. But I'm very nervous with what they're planning to do with making the rest of the series a movie. I've read all of Haikyuu in the manga. It's an A series for me because of it, but it is a gateway to sports anime for sure. And anime in general, I would argue, yes, it's just a very safe, tame series. I really love the manga and the last third of the manga, but I'm so terrified because the last third of the manga, the stuff they've not animated for IQ, is my favorite in the whole series. And the moment I heard they were taking 100 chapters of my favorite parts of the manga and putting it into 2 films for the anime, I was like, why? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Hey, hey, hey! Why would we do that? Oya, 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 indeed. I'm just like, I don't think it's going to be successful how they do it. I could be wrong. I could be blown away, but I'm so nervous for them to put the last 100 chapters of Haikyuu into 2 feature length movies. I don't think it's going to go well, but we'll see. I could be proven wrong. I hope I am. I hope I am. Right? I do enjoy it. So that leaves us with just a few sports anime left to finish on here. One of which is a Kuroko's Basketball, which I'm still reading, but I think I've gotten enough info on it to put it up there in A rank. I like Kuroko's Basketball a lot. I'm like, Kuroko's Basketball is just, it's A ranked. It's so good. I love the shipping. I love the characters. I love the comedy. I would say, honestly, if you're looking for a sports anime, Kuroko's is not probably the best basketball anime out there. They don't really talk much about basketball, although I'm reading the manga now. The manga is giving us more on basketball than the anime did, and I'm happy about that. But I would say Kuroko's such a fun, it's a fun anime because of a lot of reasons. Like, you can find lots of things you like about it. And, oh, see you, Clara. Thank you. But yeah, but I really do like Kuroko's for the shipping and all that's given us so far. So it's A ranked for me. And then y'all, I mean, let's be real. Ace of the Diamond, it's the last sports anime I think I have on here, is Ace of the Diamond, and we all know where it's going. We know where it's going. I've talked about Sailor Moon, I've talked about Dragon Ball Z, and that they are the saintly ranks, but there's a third one that goes up there. The saintly rank of all sports anime for me, I mean, it has to be Ace of the Diamond. Has to be. I mean, not only does it have like the Toro's main character Sawamura, who is like Sunshine Boy of all Sunshine Boys, but here's the thing: I put Free and Haikyuu and Kuroko's Basketball down there as A ranks alongside Run with the Wind and Tsurune because those are all really great series and they do really good work with character development. I love the character development they do give us that works out really good. But if you want character development, if you want a sport being explained, if it's Ace of the Diamond. I mean, I don't know. I have not met a series that's done it as well and gave you as much highs and lows and character arcs. And it's a slow burn and you have to get into it. But y'all, I started out hating baseball and didn't want anything to do with it. And when this series won the polls, I was so nervous. I was so trepidatious. I was like, I'm going to not like this series. I honestly, the very first episode, I came home from vacation and I sat down at my computer with episode 1 of Ace of the Diamond. And I decided I was going to watch 3 episodes in one because I'm like, let's just get this over with. I literally started watching 3 episodes at once because I thought I was just going to get over with it. I was like, well, we'll just watch 3 episodes at once and get through so that it doesn't take me 3 years to get through the series. And we'll just do that. And I didn't think I was going to like it at all. I thought to myself, I'm like, I've watched really good anime series up until now. We'll see how this goes. And then by the time I was like 6 episodes in, I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm really going to like this. And then by the time I finished season 1, I was like, I need more. And then I just fell in love. So yes, I really just love it. So yes, I went from not caring at all about baseball or wanting to learn anything about it to getting a Yakushi jersey, to getting a Sato jersey, to going to a baseball game. That's actually what I'm doing this Sunday. My best friend went with me when I did that video for this channel about going to the baseball game for the first time. And for Christmas, my best friend, I was like, what do you want for Christmas? And her birthday, she's an Aquarius like Kuroko and like Koshu. She's an Aquarius. And she was like, well, for Christmas, my birthday, I'd really like to go back to a baseball game again in the summer. And I was like, oh, cool. So her and I are going Sunday to go see at the same seats, same stadium. We're going to go see a game together. So I'm really, really excited. I'm like, that is amazing. And I have to thank Daya for that. I have to thank Ace of the Diamond for giving me that love for baseball that I didn't realize I could have. And I'm like, I went from not loving baseball at all to like loving it and the characters and everything. So I hope it becomes a tradition. I hope that we're able to go every year to see a game. That would be a lot of fun. And then I can just sit there and like just eat my hot dog, my popcorn and be like, look at all of them. They're on the base trying to coach the pitcher. Oh my gosh. So I'll have to take pictures for you all Sunday and post it in the Discord and on Patreon. I'll post it in the Discord going to see the game. It's supposed to rain. So I'm like, I hope it doesn't rain all day, but we'll see. But yeah, Daya, S tier for sure. I just realized there was a series that I did not get on here. I'll turn into a Jehovah's Witness for Daya. Yes, I didn't have Soul Eater on here. I feel like I'm going to need to go back and re-look at Soul Eater at some point because it's one series that I feel like I started it. And it's actually the only manga I've really like hardcore dropped with Soul Eater. And I started to do research for a Soul Eater video last year, and then I got too busy and I kind of dropped it and put it to the wayside. But I would eventually like to get back and talk about Soul Eater a little bit more. We'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna put it under classics for now. Perfect Blue is gonna go under badass. I love that. I love Perfect Blue. It's so scary and freaky. It's weird. I did rank Black Butler under classics as well. No, I ranked Black Butler under badass or basically good, Akane. It's one of those series where I started it and I've just kind of let it go to the wayside, kind of like Soul Eater a little bit. Really like Perfect Blue though. Garden of Words is really good too. I liked that series a lot as well. Garden of Words was a nice little short too. Any other movies? Your Name. Oh, Your Name was really good. That goes under A rank. I liked Your Name a lot. Yawamushi Pedal would definitely probably, I don't know if it'll be on the sports anime poll or not. We'll see when we get to it. I have some in mind based on recommendations, but I have heard Yawamushi Pedal is really, really good. I have not seen Detective Conan, but it's on my list, Neil. It is. Detective Conan is such a long series. My whole thing with Detective Conan, though, is that it is so long. I don't know if I want to start something that crazy long. It's just, that's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do something that crazy. The Way of the House Husband goes under B rank. I like it. It's badass. I like Way of the House Husband a lot. I've done the reactions for season 1 of it. Daokusei. Oh, Daokusei. Amazing. I love Daokusei, that series. That series is so freaking good. Classmates, it's so great. Number 24 is one that I've really, really looked forward to too, Anime Annie. I would really like to have it on the sports poll as well, especially after hearing a little bit about it. Yep. Oh, without filler, it's only 600 episodes. Worth it. Yeah, 600 episodes. Hold on. I'm not a math person, so I need a calculator, but 600 episodes, if there's 52 weeks in a year, 600 episodes, it would take me 11 years to do week by week, 1 episode a week. I would be in my 40s by the time I finished Conan. If I started, it would take, if you did 600 episodes week to week, 1 episode a week, it would take you 11 years to get through. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Oh my God. Okay, so 5 episodes a week. Okay, so 600 divided by 5 is only 120. So 120. So yeah. Oh, if I did 5 episodes a week for the 600 episodes, it would only take me 2 years and a third to get through the whole series. 2 years of 5 episodes a week for Conan. I don't know if I can commit to something that hardcore. I don't know if I'm that hardcore yet. We might have to wait on that. Might have to wait on that. Um, as far as other B or C rank shows, as far as anything I don't have enough information on to really make a judgment call for, as far as not enough data, I feel like the only series I don't really have enough data on at this point is probably Case Study of Vanitas. I'm going to put Case Vanitas under not enough data because I just started that series. I just started it. I don't have enough to really rank it yet, so we're going to put it off to the side. Don't have enough for Case Study at this point. And Trigun, I'm going to put there as well because I'm only like 7 episodes into Trigun. I don't have enough info on Trigun or Vanitas to really make a judgment call with that series. So they're going to be under not enough data. Going to need more to go back and actually see that and see what we get on it. But and I would also say Millionaire too. The Millionaire series, I just started it as well. I don't have enough info about it as well to rank it. So Millionaire, Trigun, and Vanitas, I don't have enough info to rank those 3 series yet. So we'll just see how they go. We'll see how they go. And if I do one of these tier rankings again of series, like new series, then we'll do like a maybe from 2023 on in the future, like ranking new series eventually and do that. Twittering Birds Never Fly. I'm going to put under B rank only because we only have 1 movie for it, but I love the manga. The manga is freaking amazing. Sasaki to Miyano. I'm going to put it under A ranked. I really like Sasaki Miyano. It's really cute. Super awesome. Moriarty the Patriot. I'm going to put under B because it's badass. I like Moriarty the Patriot. I wish it was longer. Hello, Geen. I wish it was longer. I'm just still reading the manga. So I feel like I need to read more of the manga to get a better view of it, but I'm going to put there. We do need more Twittering Birds. I wish that studio would just give us more with that series. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, y'all. I will also put Kase on Morning Glories. I hate to say it, but I'm going to put under B rank. I was going to put under Don't Recall, but I do remember it. And it's good. It's cute. It's fine. Oh, Made in Abyss. Yeah, cute things on this channel. Yeah, my brother, all I said about Made in Abyss, I had it recommended and he goes, and that's all he said. And then he walked away. And so I'm like, yeah, trying to troll. Ha ha ha. Nice try, Omaru. I do want to have Made in the Abyss on the polls eventually. Promare is badass. I freaking loved Promare. That was so much fun. That movie was an event. I loved it. It was great. I want more of it. I will also put under any more for B rank. As far as B rank goes, I think everything else might be A rank or higher. Maybe. I'm gonna put under Death Parade. Not enough data because we don't have enough on Death Parade yet. Oh my God, these are all like really good series. I will put Demon Slayer under Badass because I've only seen seasons 1 and seasons 2. I've not seen season 3 yet. I would like to this fall, maybe eventually get to it or some other seasons. We'll see about that. But I don't have enough data at this time for it to not be anything but B ranked. And then Hanako-kun, put Hanako-kun under A ranked. I like Hanako-kun a lot. I saw they're going to remake the anime for Hanako-kun, which I thought was really cool. I really liked Hanako-kun's anime run initially, and then once I started reading the manga, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, the name sounds ridiculous. The manga is gorgeous, and it's a horror manga. It's got horror and romance mixed together. It's so good. I love it. And I've heard they're redoing the anime. So if they redo it, it might be cool. Like go back and see it and review it and talk about it. But Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, it was one of the OG series, and I love it so much. Same with Given. Given, I've got to bring up to A rank. It's just really good. Given is so solid. I absolutely love it from start to finish. I'm glad we're not completely done with Given. We've got more content yet to come. But yes, Hanako-kun's art style is mwah, chef's kiss. I could stare at it for hours. I have so many different screenshots, like cover color spread saved that I've like used as backgrounds on my computer. That's so wonderful. Yeah, Given is A rank. Given is just such a solid series. It's probably one of the best BLs out there. And the great thing about Given is that it's BL, but it's very accessible. So it's not like, it's not, I feel like a lot of people have a hard time like jumping into BL because they think it's just gonna be very sexual and they're like not ready for that. And the nice thing about Given is that it's romantic, it has romance, but it is also very accessible. It's got a great story, great characters, and a lot of heart and soul to it that you can easily latch onto. And it has great music. So it's like, it's checking off lots of boxes, right? Checking off lots of boxes. The only other one on here that I have any conflicts with is number 6 that I'm going to put into B rank. I like number 6 a lot, like Shio and Nezumi. They're such great characters, but man, the anime, it like what happens with Stars Align and like what happens with Stars Align on here, that it was just kind of rushed, the ending was. And I was really, really sad about that because I really like the idea of how number 6 ends in the manga. But like you said, Tony Simi, the anime did it dirty. And everybody kind of warned me about that when I started, which at first I was like, I don't know if I wanted to be warned about it. But in hindsight, I'm kind of glad I was, because when we got to the last episode, I was like, what happened? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, they explained that stuff was rushed. They didn't have all the manga content. And then when you go back and read the manga, it's a lot better. But yeah, I was just like, oof. I liked number 6 until it ended. And I was like, oh no. So we're down to the nitty gritty. Seraph at the End, I'm going to put under badass as well. I'm still reading the manga for Seraph at the End. It's such a great little vampire series. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I've been reading the novels for a year now, and I've got like this much notes made with the novels that if I get done this summer, that video is going to take forever to make, talking about the Gurren novels, because I wrote so many notes and done so much analysis of it. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? So I eventually will get to those. The manga is really good though, and I'm glad the manga is still going on. We're going to save The Great Pretender for last, since that's what this whole live stream was about. But at this point, a lot of these series I think are going to be A ranked. So we might as well start those. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Neon Genesis, man. Oh, Neon Genesis. Where do we start? Oh, where do we start? Okay. There's going to be some S tier series in this. And here's the thing. I have to put Neon Genesis in S tier. I have to, because what other channel has gone on 6-hour rants about a movie for that in one movie? Neon Genesis, came out of nowhere and slapped me across the face, grabbed my hair and drugged me to the abyss and threw me into the third impact. I was not expecting Neon Genesis to be what it was. My brother always liked Neon Genesis, and as a kid, I was like, oh, it's because you like mech anime, blah, 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 blah. And so when it won, I was like, okay, well, we'll watch Neon Genesis. And I was like, it's going to be a mech anime. It's going to be meh. And then 2 episodes in, I was like, this is not what I was told it was going to be. And then 16 episodes in, I'm like, this is way more abstract than I thought it could ever be. And then by the time End of Evangelion and the movies came along, I was like, oh, what the fudge? But it's one of those series that is so polarizing. And I feel like people either love Neon Genesis or they hate it. They either are like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, or they're like, this abstract piece of garbage, what is even happening? And the best thing about it is the answer is yes. For both things, the answer is yes. It is abstract as hell. Yes, it is detailed. Yes, it's like, oh my God. And Edgar, you're like, no, garbage. But yeah, for me, I think it's a testament to a series when it can get such polarizing reactions, and it's still high quality. It's art. Yes, it is art. I really definitely think that you can either, if you think the plot is garbage, understood. If you think the plot is ridiculous, yes. If you think the plot does not give you solid, concrete answers, yes. But I don't think anybody can look at the series and not take something positive away from it. I feel like, even if, like Edgar's saying, it's not the type of what you want from the media, I think there can at least be respect. It's like when I teach my English class, I have a lit class where we go over poetry. And I have everybody pick their favorite genre. Do you like short stories? Do you like drama? Do you like poetry? Oftentimes, poetry is like the least favorite because people are like, I don't get it. I don't like the structure. I don't like that it doesn't have a plot. It's not for me. But my goal as a teacher is that by the end of the semester, I'm like, okay, you still don't like poetry, but do you at least kind of respect it, where it comes from and how it was made and what it's trying to do? And oftentimes students will be like, yeah, I get it. I still don't like it, but I get it. And that's kind of how I feel about Evangelion. It's a series that it's not going to be for everybody. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I feel like there is a respect there for what the artists did and for what the series does in terms of changing the game of abstract art and storytelling. And I appreciate it. I love it to pieces. But I get it's not for everybody, but yeah, I get it. But I'm still like, for me, I'm like, oh no, it's up there. I couldn't put it down in B rank and then be like, well, you talked for 6 hours about one movie. Do you really not like it that much? I'm like, yeah, you know. As far as other series that are A ranked, Jujutsu Kaisen, I know some people in the Discord and on Patreon have been like, oh, I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen. Nah, it's my jam. It's like, that's for me shonen. I really appreciate what Akutami is doing with Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm about to watch season 2 when it comes out in July. I'm super hyped for it. I've waited 2 years for season 2. I'm really excited for it. For me, Jujutsu Kaisen is the modern shonen and what it should be. Taking something that, you know, you have your Bleaches of the past, you have your One Piece, and I like what Jujutsu Kaisen does to modernize shonen. I think it does some really cool things. I'm excited for it. I'm not a manga reader, so no spoilers, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, so it's A ranked for me. Same with Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is like Jujutsu Kaisen and Neon Genesis together. It's just like it is amazing that Chainsaw Man. I think that Fujimoto is the Quentin Tarantino he's the Quentin Tarantino of anime, and that he has a distinct style. He knows what he wants, and he doesn't care if you don't like it. This is just what you're going to get. And Chainsaw Man is exactly that. I think it's stylistic. It doesn't care what you want. It gives you what it has, and you either take it or leave it. And I ate it up. I was like, yes, please. I was like, please, sir, may I have more? But and here's the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, I've had a lot of people be like, "Oh, read the manga." For the same reasons that I decided to read for the same reasons of Dr. Stone, I'm not going to read the manga for Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man because I want to see the anime first. I want to see the anime. I want to see how it's done, and then later on, when it finishes, eventually, I would like to go back and read the manga, but I personally, with those two series, love seeing it in anime form so much that I don't want to spoil it by looking at the manga and then have regrets. So I'm living the Levi life. Hashtag no regrets. I'm choosing the path I will regret the least. And for Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, the path I will regret the least is waiting for the anime. So that's kind of just where I'm at this point with it. But yeah, it's just total chaos. Also, Link Click, I'm going to put in A ranking. I'm really excited for season 2 of Link Click to come out. I loved Link Click. If you have not seen Donghua or Chinese animation, Link Click is an amazing series. It's very short. It's not long. It has a very tightly woven, concise plot. I love it. I think it's great. I would definitely recommend Link Click if you've not seen it. It's right up there. It's really badass. I cried during it. I don't usually cry with anime or manga or donghua. I don't usually cry. I usually can hold it all together, or I get so hyped up that I don't cry a lot. But Link Click, it brought me to tears. And I was like, speaking of bring me to tears, another series that I'm going to put under the A ranking is Violet Evergarden. I have to put Violet Evergarden under A rank because I've never cried that much for an anime in my life. Violet Evergarden was just like, oh, you've not cried, have you? Oh, okay, yeah. Here's 7 episodes to sob over and a movie to sob over, and you just can't help it. It touches you emotionally in ways that's like, oh my god. And then the art style, it's Kiwani, so it's gorgeous. The anime, the movies, the art style, God, it's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful series, and I sobbed my eyes out. So yeah, A for Violet. It's just so beautiful. I would look on here. As far as other rankings, on here for the series. I would give My Hero Academia, it's going to go in the badass ranking. I like My Hero Academia a lot. Would I describe My Hero Academia as a guilty pleasure? Kind of. My Hero Academia can be a little hokey sometimes, but I really like My Hero Academia. It's cute, it's fun. It's a manga that I'm keeping up with. I am keeping up with the manga for My Hero Academia. I am doing that. And that's kind of the other reason why I'm staying away from the manga for Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, because here's the deal. I'm reading the manga for My Hero Academia right now and reacting to the anime. And even though I've really enjoyed the anime reactions and I like seeing how it's adapted, it does take away some of that surprise when you watch the anime that I feel like people are expecting for an anime reaction. So that's why I want to keep it anime only for Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, because I want them to do that. Your Lie in April and To Your Eternity, they're on my list, but I have not watched either of those. What else do we have on here? Yona of the Dawn A rank for sure. Yona of the Dawn A ranking. It's not finished yet, but I love Yona of the Dawn so much. It's probably, alongside Sailor Moon and Banana Fish, it's probably my favorite shoujo. I freaking love it. It is just absolutely beautiful. I love Yona of the Dawn. I hate that there's only one anime season for it. It's just like, and so it still gets an A rank. I'm still keeping up with the manga, but it's just a gorgeous series. And then before I answer your question, Omaru, I love Yona of the Dawn, but I want to talk about Banana Fish. Banana Fish is S rank. Banana Fish is the one that brought me to the dance, y'all, in this channel. I mean, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Given did as well, but Banana Fish was like the first like audience interaction in the comment section on Patreon, Discord. Banana Fish is S tier. It's just, I freaking love Banana Fish beyond all belief. It's right there in the corner. It's on my shelf. There's a little Ash and AG stand up there, vinyl stand up that I got. And then I have all the volumes of Banana Fish now. I finally collected all of them in English. It took forever. They're all there, but damn it. Banana Fish is so good. I'm just like, it's just so solid from end to end. And it doesn't give you the ending that you want, but it's an ending that you respect and you cry over and you just shake your fist and go, how dare you? And then you read Garden of Light, the epilogue, and you just sob because it's so beautiful. Yeah, Banana Fish is heartbreaking. It is. It's beautiful. It's one of those series that you're like happy crying and then you hate yourself for about a month and then you watch it again. It's torture, but in a fun way. It's torture in a great way. It's so good. But the character's so wonderful. I absolutely love the anime adaptation. The manga is beautiful, but I love that it's a perfect example of how an anime adapted something from the 80s and 90s to a modern era, and it's timeless. It's so timeless and gorgeous, the story is. And there's parts of the story that relate to any time period across all, sex, gender, people, everything. It's just like I could rave all day about Banana Fish. It's one of my favorite series. If I feel like torturing myself, I'll go back and watch the happier episodes, if those exist, and then make myself feel a little bit better. As far as other A ranked that are not in the S tier, I'll be honest, y'all. I'm working on a video right now, and I feel a little bit bad about it because it's a video about Spy Family and Buddy Daddies being compared to one another. And I'll be honest, like I liked Spy Family a lot. Spy Family was a lot of fun. But then I watched Buddy Daddies and I realized what Spy Family could be. And I liked Buddy Daddies more. And I was like, oh no. And so I was kind of saucy in this video when I was recording the audio drama for it. And I got the audio drama recorded for it. And I started to feel guilty because then I was like, oh no, I kind of trash talked Spy Family a little bit. But then I was going back and getting the clips for Spy Family to put in the video. And I was like, oh, wait, I do like Spy Family. I was like, oh, no. So I feel like the drama, I feel like I do love Spy Family a lot. But here's my thing. And I make this comparison in the video that I'm working on. Spy Family is like a vanilla milkshake. Spy Family is the vanilla milkshake of anime. Which there's nothing wrong with vanilla milkshake. Lots of people love them. Croco loves them. Lots of people are endearing about them. Vanilla milkshakes, people like them. But it's like, then you have Buddy Daddies, who's a chocolate and caramel sundae with peanuts on it. Is it going to be for everybody? No. But is it maybe going to be more satisfying than that vanilla milkshake? It depends on your taste, but maybe. I felt like the first core of Spy Family, I think, is on par with Buddy Daddies and is really, really solid and saucy. I like it. The second core of Spy Family started to lose me by the end of it. And I felt like by the end of it, and I don't want to trash talk Spy Family because when I was rewatching the clips for it for the video, I was like, oh shit, you trash talk Spy Family a little bit. And now I regret it because I really like Spy Family. But my thing was that at the end of the season, the climax is this one little incident and it didn't feel like a climax. I was like, and then Buddy Daddies is like this very tight, succinct narrative that is just so good from end to end. And just like Skate the Infinity, just like Run with the Wind, just like Skate the Infinity that's anime only, I feel like Buddy Daddies took a risk. It took risks. It made choices. It was bold, and I love it for it. Whereas I feel like Spy Family just plays it safe. Spy Family is like, well, we got to appeal to a mass audience. So we're not going to do anything crazy or too risque. We're going to keep it all very like somebody said, Yo Teef, like status quo. That they're just like, oh, we're just going to keep it like, how, safe. Whereas Buddy Daddies, I'm like, they kind of took a risk and it doesn't always work, but I really liked it. And I thought that Buddy Daddies was a lot gorier than I was expecting. Like there's a scene that is the goriest thing I've seen since Vinland Saga. I was like, what the hell? Like, I was just like, oh my God, I was not expecting it. Right. And so I don't know. It feels like we had like a little, a spam come in there for a second in the chat. But yeah, I honestly, I'm working on the video right now, so it should be out by the end of the month. But I feel a little bit bad because I think the video makes it seem like I didn't like Spy Family. I do like Spy Family a lot, but I just liked Buddy Daddies more. And honestly, if you told me that Buddy Daddies, hello Anna, I'm looking at my chat now. If you told me that Buddy Daddies was getting a season 2 and Spy Family is getting a season 2, I would want to watch Buddy Daddies season 2 first if you were giving me the option. So we'll see. But what I hope is that when that video comes out, I'm going to probably put a disclaimer and be like, no, I do like Spy Family. Don't get me wrong. I just enjoyed Buddy Daddies more by the end of it. So I'm going to put Buddy Daddies in A rank for sure. Spy Family, I'm going to hesitantly put it in badass rank for B ranked. I like Spy Family fine, but I feel like, yes, Amaru, you hit the nail on the head. The same thing happened with Haikyuu when you were watching Daya. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Like, I love Haikyuu and I love Spy Family. So I'm going to move Spy Family up to A with Buddy Daddies. That's exactly what happened. I like Haikyuu and I like Spy Family both so much. But watching Ace of the Diamond made me realize what was missing from Haikyuu that I needed. And watching Buddy Daddies made me realize what I was missing from Spy Family that it gave me. So yes, that is 100% right. Buddy Daddies and Daya gave me what Spy Family and Haikyuu was missing. That is exactly the analogy. I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that. So as far as the series that are left over, Mob Psycho, A rank. Mob Psycho is amazing. I love that series so much. It's so freaking good. Mob Psycho is just a solid series from end to end. I feel like Mob Psycho is kind of like Fullmetal Alchemist, where there's no issues with it. Is it the best series in the world? Maybe not. But does it have like a solid message? Yes, it does. And it's just one of the more inspiring series that I know. And I know some would put Mob at S. Here's the thing, Amaru. For me, the only thing keeping me from putting Mob Psycho at S rank is season 3. And that's not, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but my thing is that I don't know. I feel like as a whole, Mob Psycho is just solid. Is it my favorite series I've ever watched? No, but it's really, really good. I'd say it's up there. Like it's in my top 10 probably, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't say, oh, Kelsey, I don't want to say it's exactly like Daya, but it is really solid. I do like it a lot. Buddy Days is just really good. I do like it. But yeah, Mob is, I get the hype. Yep, I get the hype for Mob. I really, really enjoyed it, but it's not like my top 5 series of all time. It's probably in the top 10 though, maybe. I would say Bungo Stray Dogs is also an A ranked for me. I love Bungo Stray Dogs so much. I'm not going to rank it any higher because it's not complete yet, so I want to see it all in its completed version. but I like Bungo Stray Dogs a lot. I'm excited for season 5 coming out in July. It'll be on Sundays alongside Millionaire Detective, so it's gonna be fun. We'll have Bungo Stray Dog. Stray Dog Sundays is gonna be back. I'm really excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun. I've heard D. Greymon kind of talked up a lot too, Anna. It's definitely on my list to eventually poll. I've heard it's been talked up. I'm excited about that. And then Kelsey, you probably will cry at Buddy Daddies, but it's okay. Happy tears. Happy tears. But yeah, I like Bungo Stray Dogs an awful lot. And I'm gonna put Death Note in A rank too. You know what? Light Yagami, that little scamp. Light Yagami, that little scamp. I love Death Note. I'm so glad I got to finally see it. Death Note was so much fun. It was great. I really enjoyed that series an awful lot. It's definitely in my top 10. Death Note is in my top 10. I just freaking loved it. Death Note was just absolutely hilarious. And you know what? Death Note, here's my thing. Death Note holds up. That was one thing. When everybody was talking about the series, Death Note holds up. Amaru, I read your comment and I'm just laughing so hard. Death Note holds up so well. I just absolutely love it. It's ridiculous. It's stylistic. It's kind of abstract in its design, but it's just, the story is pretty basic, but it's just so good. It's so good. Yes. Love it. Death Note's in my top 10 for sure. So I've got like 5 left. Here's the deal. I'm going to put Monster in A rank only because I've not watched the whole thing yet. Ow. Oh, I just hit my fan. Damn it. That hurt. That's what I get. The stars are cursing me for talking bad about monsters. So I'm fine. That really hurt. I'm okay, but man, that was a bad idea. That is what I get for that's what I get for doubting Monster. It's like, how dare you? How dare you put it in A rank? How dare? That's what you get, you winch. I was gonna say I'm only putting Monster in A rank because I've only seen a third of it. That's the only reason. Now, if we come back and look at series like from 2023 on, I might do like a ranking at the end of the year. I'm sure that Monster will probably be S rank when I'm finished. I'm sure it probably will be. However, I will leave it in A rank for now because I've only seen like a third of it. I need more data, and then I will judge accordingly afterwards. Great Pretender. We might as well. I'm saving the 4 ones for last. Great Pretender, I'm going to put in B rank because I am glad that I watched Great Pretender. It was a lot of fun. I do have some reservations about it, but not a lot of people in this stream have seen it yet. So I would recommend watching Great Pretender. I'm not mad that I watched it. I'm glad that I watched it. I thought it was pretty solid from end to end. I have issues with it, but it is a series I was glad I got to. So we've got that. But that being said, yes, Tony sent me. That's exactly right. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but have some issues. We can definitely talk in the comments about it. I'm glad Huck picked it. Yes, here's my thing. I've wanted to watch Great Pretender for 2 years, and it's never won a poll. It's gotten second place. It's gotten really close. It got third place on a poll once, but it never got it. And I kept being like, I want to see it. And so I'm glad that Huck picked it because I finally got to see it. And now I'm like, okay, good. Marked it off. Awesome. But I definitely would put it under B rank for me. It's just a solid, saucy series. How long have I been watching anime? Since I was a little kid. Like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z were like the first 2, along with Pokemon and Digimon, that I watched. So since like the 90s, like early 90s, I've been watching anime. That leaves us with 4. We might as well get them out of the way. Modao Zushi. Modao Zushi is S tier for me. It is. I could put it in A rank. I could, but Modao Zushi is so freaking good. And here's the thing about Modao Zushi. It is a donghua. It is an audio drama. It is a novel. It is a live action series. And every version is great. There's no bad version of it. I was like, I started out watching the Donghua from Odazushi and was like, this series is really cool. And everybody's like, oh, you should read the novel and listen to the audio drama. And I'm like, I don't know if the quality is going to change because I'm going to be listening to a story. I basically encountered the same story in 4 different mediums, and every single one of them was good. And that seems rare to me. Like, you think you're like, oh, well, the audio drama won't be that good. No, it's like one of the best audio dramas I've ever listened to. The novel won't be that good. No, it's an amazing story. Oh, the live action series will be like a live action of a Donghua. Is that going to be really hokey and cheesy? No, it was amazing and emotional. I was floored by how much quality is in Modazushi. And the best part about it, because I'm looking at Tony Simi's comment right now in the chat, the best part about it is that the same story is told in 4 different ways, but things are changed up and altered in each version, that you can find which version you like the best and why. And the fun thing is, they're all canon, so it all works out, right? So it doesn't feel like you're cheating yourself. So I know I did a whole live stream about Modazushi, so I'm not going to go into everything, but it's just S tier. I love it. But y'all, if I'm being honest, I know I've not finished the story. I know I'm only halfway through at this point. I'm only 5 volumes in. But y'all, I already can tell you that I may end up liking Heaven Official's Blessing more. I may end up liking it more. It has to be S tier already. I'm like 5 volumes in. It's already S tier. This may be one of my favorite stories I've ever read, and I get to read it with you all week to week on this channel. I am so insanely in love with TGCF, with Heaven Official's Blessing. I'm just absolutely enamored by it. Like, each week, the chapters I read, each week is like a bag of chaos that you just like, you open the chip bag, you don't know what's going to come out. It's combining these insane genres of horror, of romance, of fantasy, of comedy, just combining them all together with this insane story. And MXTX as a storyteller is so wonderful at just bringing things all back full circle and connecting threads. And just, I could rave about it. Like, when we do the live stream for Heaven Official's Blessing, when it's all over with, I'm just going to sit there and just like gush rainbows for 3 hours, right? But yes, if you like Heaven Official, if you like Modazushi and you've not seen Heaven Official Blessing, y'all are missing out, because this is just, oh my God, And they're kind of apples and oranges. And that's kind of what I love about it too. I went into Heaven Official's Blessing afraid that it was going to be the same as Modazushi. And I was like, am I going to read the same type of story twice? No, it's very different. It's apples and oranges. It's kiwis and lemons. It's just so different, but I love it. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited to finish it, but it's already S tier for me. So that leaves us with 2 series left. Can't imagine where I'm going to place them. Here's the thing. What's left is Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga. That's what's left. And I agree, Amy, I'm waiting on season 2 of Heaven Official's Blessing as well. I'm sure it's going to come out soon, but I'm going to be eagerly awaiting it. But so Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, y'all. They're both S tier. Sorry. Attack on Titan, I've watched seasons 1 through 4, part 2. And I'm rereading the manga right now in anticipation for season 4, part 3, parts 1 and 2, acts 1 and 2. So, yes, I absolutely love Attack on Titan. It was one of those series that, like Attack on Titan, like Ace of the Diamond, I started not thinking I would like, because I remember reading the very first chapter of Attack on Titan in a bookstore and going, nope, and putting it back on the shelf, being like, sorry, see ya. But now I'm back to it. And I'm very, very happy. I don't want to talk a lot about Attack on Titan because I don't want spoilers. So I'm going to leave it as Attack on Titan. If you've watched my reactions, if you've seen this channel, you know that Attack on Titan is like the thing I've literally talked the most about in all of this channel, nearly. So obviously it holds a special place. To answer your question, Loon, I will answer that. I'm going to watch part 1 when I'm caught up to where season 4, part 2 ended in the manga. When I'm caught up with that, I'm going to watch part 1. Hopefully part 2 will be out by then, but if not, then we'll wait for part 2 of season 4, part 3. So that is my plan anyway. I'm using my manga readings as a refresher to refresh me on the plot, to refresh me on the characters and the themes, so that I can go into part 1 being like super hyped and excited, right? And then when I'm done with part 2 of the final season, then I'm going to go back and read the manga, the last manga chapters for those parts that I've not watched yet. I am about to start this week. This week on Patreon, we are finishing up season 2 of it. And so next week, YouTube, we'll finish up season 2 of Attack on Titan. And then we'll start part 1 of season 3 next week on Patreon and the week after on YouTube. To answer your question, Kelsey, they split season 4 into 3 parts. The only thing is, instead of waiting till they were done with part 3, they split part 3 into 2 parts. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. And I was like, okay. It's like, fine. So now we had season 4, part 1, season 4, part 2, season 4, part 3, act 1, and then we're just waiting on season 4, part 3, act 2. Yes, WTF indeed. I'm just sitting there going, okay, sure, fine. Okay. It's just basically like 2 cores. And then, yeah, it's very complicated. And it's just, they didn't want to wait. So it's fine. It's like a carnival, right? But it fits the tone of Attack on Titan really well. So I'm not going to complain. But yes, I'm going to read the mangas up until part 2 of season 4 ends, then watch hopefully the last of the anime, and then finish up with the manga before doing the recap of all recaps. And then maybe a live stream that'll last like all day. I'll just sit here eating lunch and drinking. Like, it'll be like a day drink where I'm just sitting here drinking and eating, and we'll talk about Attack on Titan all day. That'll be the live stream. It'll have bathroom breaks built in. I'm like, oh my God. Waiting for that to happen, right? But Vinland Saga is the last one to put up here that's S rank. I honestly, if you had just showed me season 1 of Vinland Saga, I probably wouldn't have ranked it in S rank. It probably would have been A rank for me. But then we go to, yeah, the Attack on Titan live stream could be too much. But Anna, if you're not satisfied with the ending of season 3 of Modazushi, read the book. The book is really good. The book solves your problems in more ways than one. But with Vinland Saga, I would definitely think that season 2 is what brought it to S tier for me. And what's kind of fun is that I sort of have this, like, there's a part of me that just wants to kind of like shove it to anime people that just got into Vinland Saga thinking it was going to be exactly like season 1. And then they're like, Farmland Saga, and this is so boring. And what's all this talk about politics and existential crises and trauma and real life scenarios? Where's my axe wielding? And I'm like, bitch, what? I'm just like, no, I just, get Bromania Mac out here. Just like, stop. What? Character development in a series? Are you kidding? Yeah. I think that a lot of people they expect it, since it's a battle shonen, to just be about violence and gore. And I'm like, I feel like Ramsay from Game of Thrones, whenever people say that, I feel like Ramsay being like, this isn't the series or Tyrion. I feel like Tyrion in Game of Thrones, where he's like, then you're at the wrong show. This isn't the right place. If you came for a happy ending, you've come to the wrong place. Like, a slow burn with a great payoff. Yes, that is Vinland Saga so far in a nutshell. It just, all the character development, the psychology, the dynamics, the political intrigue, the history. And the fact that, like Omaru was saying, you start out season 1 and it's this gory graphic show, and then season 2 takes that violence and filters it through a different context ever so slightly without seeming out of place or out of context. And it completely changes the dynamic, and it is beautiful. Like, everything about it is just like, I could sing praises for season 2 all day. And I will say this, without spoiling it for y'all that haven't seen Vinland Saga, the character one of my least favorite characters in season 1 becomes my favorite character in season 2. And that development made me just go, what the fudge? I just, like, that made me fall in love with the series. Was once we got like halfway through season 2, I was like, oh my God, this character that I didn't care for at all in season 1 and was just like kicking dirt at is now not only hot and my favorite character. It's just astounding. Any series that can do that, it makes me just, like, my heart sing, right? It makes my heart sing. And just the characters that we see from season 1 getting to the place that they are in season 2 is that just like, and Kelsey, yes, Kelsey, essentially, That's what I need. I need that character development to happen to Akashi, and then I would love him more, but can't have nice things. Ah! So yeah, that is my ranking. I thought this live stream was going to take an hour, hour and a half, and we're like nearing 2.5 hours. I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised at this point, right? Should not be surprised. I may go and read some Attack on Titan manga after this, y'all. I know I have to post the Attack on Titan manga to YouTube after this, but there we go. But yeah, I've got the rankings. I'm so happy about this. I know, yeah, Kelsey's like, I had time to go like eat dinner, come back, and she's still talking about shows. But yeah, Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is one of those that I'm really, really torn about because people have been asking, saying, are you going to read the manga after the anime? And I'm torn because I want to wait for the anime because the anime has been so damn good, right? I want to wait on the anime. And I feel like the hype that it has gotten, especially in Japan, will lend it to get a third season. And I'm like, do I just bite my tongue like I did with Jujutsu Kaisen, wait on it patiently, and then see what's going to happen? I can be a patient woman. I got lots of shows I need to watch. I can be patient. So, I can do that, right? So, yeah. But we'll see. I'll probably take a while we're reviewing and reacting to the channel. It only took 4 years for season 2. Lune, why do you do that? But yeah. So, we'll see. My thing is, what I always go back to is I have so many anime on this channel to watch that like the 2-year wait for Jujutsu Kaisen, it went by so quickly because I had so many other shows I was watching that could distract me in the time it was taking for the series to come out. So I feel it's Mappa now, so there won't be long waits. I cry in Yuri on Ice. I cry in Yuri on Ice as you say that, Amaru. But yeah, I feel like I've got enough shows on this channel I can watch that will let me bide my time. And I know that's not gonna be the case for you all. You all may be like, yeah, Ice Adolescents where I feel like a lot of people will read the manga after this, which I'm excited about. It's really good for Vinland Saga, right? Because I think that will only help Vinland Saga if more people read the manga and are asking for another season. I think that can only help. So I know I'll be fine with waiting. I understand nobody else will. And that's fine. But I think it will be worth it to have the anime reactions when they come out. I think it'll be worth it. But yeah, so I've got this pulled up here. Any other questions before we end this live stream and I go and give these dogs some food and get some food myself and then sit down and probably read some Attack on Titan this afternoon. Thank you all so much. I'm glad that I finally got to do a ranking of these shows because I've been wanting to rank them for a while and I've not gotten the chance to. I didn't do a manga ranking. That might have to happen at least one day, perhaps. But yeah, no, Huck has actually been really good. He gave up on his toy like 30 minutes into the stream and was like, fine. But yeah, I'm like, the dogs need their food and thus do I. But yeah, I'm going to post this on the community post and on Patreon on the Discord. And I'll also post a link to the actual tier maker itself. So if you want to rank your own series, you can. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, the next stream is not going to be until June 18th, until Father's Day. I'm going to do a Father's Day stream about buddy daddies. So yay. I am definitely going to be, I'm going to be like a live stream on Father's Day for buddy daddies. Plan for June 18th. I'm going to plan it for June 18th. If something happens with my family that it has to happen on Saturday the 17th, I'll let you all know on the Discord. But yeah, I didn't intend for it to be on Father's Day when I first was planning out live streams. I'm like, oh, I'll just do buddy days this day. And then it suddenly dawned on me that it was Father's Day. And I was like, it may be